Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sci-Fi Chronicles. And tonight we are kicking off our regular Friday night, 9 p.m. UK slot, talking about all the latest entertainment news. So to start with us tonight, I've got next to me, so I've got the mega geeky Ian David Diaz. How you doing?
I'm all right.
He's ready to roll. We've got
roll.
Istophobos. How you doing, my friend? You all right? Yeah, he's staring at his profile's bum, so don't worry about that.
That's what he's doing.
Then we got
I'm doing well. I had a little echo problem there. I had to go.
Oh, okay, no problems. And we've got Z3PO. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Pleasure to be back with you, John. Looking forward to tonight's topics, isn't it? I forget where we are.
Yep,
it's light outside, but it's 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It is true.
Be lights out, heading to bed soon, won't it? Just this sort of weather. And also welcoming Brian from the Popcast and the Brain Show to the show tonight. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Not bad. Hanging in there.
Yep. So
you hang in there.
Yep, we're ready to roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us straight in to our first subject of this evening, and that is this one. So Villeneuve to direct James Bond film Amazon. So guys, what are our thoughts on this one? What do you reckon?
I reckon we'll get 2 hours of establishing shots and 5 minutes of action.
Yeah, 100%. What you just said is 100% true. We're going to get a bunch of slow motion establishing shots where it's slightly shaky cam and it zooms in. The guy's going to be smelling his farts for about 37% of the movie. And it's going to be very action, less action, and less dialogue. It's going to be like 90% visual. And man, I hate it so much. I literally hate Denis Villeneuve, whatever his name is, style. I hate his style. I hate his style with a passion. I hate it, dude. It's perfect for that Quaalude-ridden Timothy Chalamet who doesn't want to actually talk anyways, because every time he talks, every time he opens his mouth, he sounds stupid. But Denis, especially, his style is like the definition of art house fart-smelling directors.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, I wanted Nolan. I've said to people before, I would have loved to have seen Nolan doing the next Bond movie. I don't have much hope, much confidence in it. Obviously we had the rumors breaking this week, didn't we? About again, rumors that someone was linked, a black actor who is going to be in Green Lantern, which looks great for John Stewart in the Green Lantern, but for me, not Bond. I'm going to say it. Bond is a white male, and I've just got the feeling. Whereas that was in isolation earlier in the week, with this being announced now, I'm starting to get a little bit more concerned, shall we say?
Some of the news I read also today is Denis Villeneuve won't even get decision on the final cut of the movie.
Oh, really?
Which I find concerning. Either they've got faith in him or they don't.
Well, they don't, because they're not giving him. Listen, I'm happy to hear that Brian, because everybody always raves about this guy, and I feel what he did to Dune, he should go to prison for.
Yeah, I don't. Movie.
He destroyed. Listen, it's the greatest science fiction book ever written. It's epic. It's the Lord of the Rings of sci-fi, and he tried to fix it. Like, what a moron! And I genuinely believe that he was just too stupid to understand the book, and that what we got was his sort of low IQ interpretation of what's going on Arrakis, and he absolutely missed out on every single important revelation about the story. And I see his other stuff, and he said he doesn't like dialogue. He has very, minimalist visuals, and sometimes the visuals look great, but other times they actually look far too simplified. And And the last thing I'll say, there is an implication here. This means that he will not be directing the Rendezvous with Rama movie. And I can't think of any better news than that.
I mean, guys, Amazon is going to be it's going to be like a Disney, isn't it? Where you're going to have a producer in the background that's going to be pitching everything, that they'll just call in directors just to do that, that particular movie and move on with very little input.
No, they've already been that. That was Jennifer Salke. Now they got rid of her, but she's going to be replaced. That's already really been their style. The difference is Disney's in trouble, man. The parks are down, cruises are down. They can't get away with the media losses they used to have. But Amazon, they print money, man. It's a prestige thing for them. They don't need to make money. They don't care. They can shove DEI in our faces for the next 3 decades, and they'll take the loss.
Because do they even have a writer or a script for this?
No, not yet.
I don't think they don't.
Well, it's a bit of a premature announcement then.
They don't even have a bond for this.
No, so basically what they're doing is they're making the same mistake as every studio does when it comes to IPs or stuff like this. What they're doing is they're going for someone that's in the moment rather than finding a director that's perfect for the actual genre itself. I'll give you an example. That guy that made Logan. Now, he's good in that.
Yeah, James Mangold.
Yeah, but he wasn't right for Indiana Jones at all.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
He's not that kind of a director. Same thing with this guy. This guy is not he's not someone right for a James Bond film. James Bond film stands for fun. It stands for tension. It stands for style. It stands for hot men and even hotter women. So I don't see this guy doing that, especially under the regime of Amazon, who basically is a very, very woke company. They've proved that time and time again. So I'm not
just
really
rings of power.
Exactly. I'm not looking forward to Amazon's version of James Bond at all. This guy is completely wrong for James Bond. Now, if you want to pick a director for James Bond, you'll go for the people that actually have style. And you have to know what a good director is as well. The people on Amazon don't know what a good director is. I don't care what anyone said. I remember when he came first on the scene and he made that alien film with the big egg that came down or whatever it was. Everybody was screaming about it. I thought it was dull as shit.
Arrival. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that.
I thought it was dull as shit. And the same thing with Dune. The first Dune, I almost fell asleep. Second Dune, it was all right. Do you know what I mean? So this guy is very clinical. He shoots things really nice, but there's no depth or understanding to what he's shooting as far as I'm concerned. So he's completely wrong for James Bond. I'll always say this, right? Spielberg always wanted to make a James Bond film. If I was in charge of Amazon, that would be the first person I go to, Spielberg, and get John Williams on board to do the music. That's the first thing I would do. But no, these people are so fucking stupid. They went for someone that his tone doesn't even fit a James Bond film. So good luck to them. That's all I can say.
You know, they did know what a good director was and how to make. When Amazon Studios first started under the tutelage of Roy Price, they made bangers, man. The guy knew his stuff, but then the whole Me Too thing, that's how Jennifer Salke managed to push him out and take power and get a job that she was completely unqualified for, just inexperienced, untalented, and incompetent in so many ways. And they're not going to get Roy Price back, but at least they have a chance of getting somebody in there that knows what they're doing. I just say it's possible, maybe. Not for certain, but I believe in the possibility that they get somebody who does know what a good director is, what makes a good series and movie. I'm not saying well, and I don't know what their priorities are right now. It seems like DEI is still the priority. So I don't have a lot of hope. But remember, Roy Price knew his stuff, and he did a bang up job there for the beginning for their debut.
Isn't the problem also that the estate that owns part of James Bond is weird about picking the right people to do the job? Like
no, they don't own it.
They sold everything.
They sold everything.
Yeah.
When was that?
Sold it all
Before the last movie?
A few months
ago. a few months ago. So
Yeah.
so the rumor that came out a few months ago was what's her name, who was
Barbara Broccoli.
Barbara Broccoli. She went into a meeting with a load of execs and Jennifer Sulky, and she got really peed off because Jennifer Sulky kept talking about Bond movies as content, and they didn't see eye to eye at all. So basically, Barbara Broccoli and co, they just basically just stalled on the Bond movies, and apparently Amazon just said, right, no, what's it going to take just to buy them out? So they just bought them out.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
some more.
Hold on. Another thing that I want to point out as well is that everybody wants Henry Cavill to play James Bond, but their excuse is going to be two things: one, that he's too old, and two is that he can't act. Now, I present you with this: is Roger Moore an Oscar-winning actor? No,
No.
right? Was Roger Moore in his 30s or 20s when he played James Bond? No, he was in his 40s. It was coming up to his 50s, I think, or he was 50, right? So those two excuses do not wash with it, but they're going to go for someone that nobody's going to agree for, or this new kind of non-existent audience is going to love. That's what they're going to do.
I totally
It's
agree.
obvious.
Oh, those criticisms that Cavill is too old is so silly to me.
Yeah, no, he looks young.
Daniel Craig looks way older. And even when he first got cast as Bond, he looked physically older than Henry Cavill looks now.
He would be great for Dumbo, though. Look at those years. But listen, this is a little inside baseball here. When they were negotiating to try to do an MGM and the Broccoli thing for Bond, that was Jennifer Sulky was on the Amazon team, and Amy Pascal, who does all the Spider-Man stuff, and the former disgraced head of Sony Studios. But here's the thing: Amy knows what she's doing, man, and she still has even though she screwed up at Sony, she has a reputation for getting stuff done. And what had happened is she started screaming about who was this idiot over at Amazon. This woman is stupid. She's incompetent. She doesn't know what the heck she's doing. Jennifer Sulky was actually forced out just days before they ended up making the deal, or days after. I don't remember, but
that's right.
Here's the thing. Bezos just said, I don't care. Just ask them what they want and give it to them. I don't care how much it is. And then we won't have to deal with it. But he did take some of their criticisms to heart, because it got everybody looking at exactly what Amy Pascal was doing, which was losing hundreds of millions of dollars, spending all her time hanging out with stars. They called her the star fucker, because all she did was want to make the celebrities happy, so they would hang out with her. She gave a $60 million deal to Phoebe Waller-Bridge to produce nothing.
It's interesting though.
To be fair though, she gave a bunch of money to other creators that did pretty well too. I don't think she knew what she was doing. She was just throwing money around.
No.
Right?
Most of her stuff was like Wheel of Time and Rings of Power.
So again, right, this is a road to nowhere. It really is. Okay. So basically, they're going to make a Bond film that nobody really wants to see. Now, I believe, right, you guys can disagree with me if you want, that the majority of film fans wants to see a Bond film that's fun, fast-moving, action. They want to see hot girls. They want to see Bond being a man and not crying in a car like the last one. And they want to see him alive. They don't want to see him dead. Yeah. So, and they want to see a good director take this on. Right.
I didn't watch the last movie, but wasn't Daniel Craig on the back of a moped hugging
yeah.
Yeah, he was crying as well. It was just ridiculous. So that's what I'm saying. So this is what we want, but we're not going to get it. We know we're not going to get it.
I think
we're not.
I think we can kiss goodbye to getting the classic naked girls dancing across the screen in the intros coming back. Yeah.
You know,
they're going to call the first movie DEI Another Day.
Yeah, you know who we're getting for Bond, and we already have what Q is Indian, Miss Moneypenny's African, M is
the game.
Some central. Yeah, it is. They're going to do all the James Bond movies with the word
The
die
one
in
thing I
it,
don't,
like
the one thing I don't
tomorrow never
understand,
DEIs.
the thing I don't
DEI another
understand,
day.
right, is people are fighting for diversity. And again, I would say this, and I'm on the record of saying this, I believe in diversity, right? So why don't they give them a platform to create their own stuff? Why do they have to go and invade so-called white people's stuff? Which, let's
Yeah.
face it, James Bond is a white, created by a white guy,
Ian,
made by white people. Why do they have to invade that stuff and destroy it? Why
Ian,
can't they
you-
create their
you-
own original stuff?
You know the answer, because one, it's not just about bringing diversity. It's about fixing the injustices and the patriarchy of the past. So they have to fix the old stuff. They have to repair it. That's part of their. It's not a live and let live situation. We have to go back and fix Star Wars and let
Well, you
some
don't
people
have
of
to do
color
that
in
with
there.
Bond. You can reboot Bond every 10, 15
Yeah.
years.
I don't disagree with what
know,
you guys are saying, but there are also
James
characters.
Bond is one of the worst canon alignments ever. It's all over the bloody place. So
there are
you can
characters
ignore
though.
what's happened before.
There are characters that you don't have to create new characters. There are already characters that meet diversity requirements.
Oh yeah, they've had a different Felix Leiter for 17 movies. Like,
okay, so it's not a problem. You can have your diversity without messing with the main character. Frankly speaking, though, if they announce Idris Elba as James Bond, that's like the one person I wouldn't have a problem with. I'd be like, because Idris Elba has at the very least he's British. All right.
Yeah, or even Denzel. Yeah, but
someone with gravitas, like a masculine figure, I'll take it. I just don't want some broccoli haired twink playing James Bond. I don't want it, dude.
You've even got to look at the recent announcement that the game that's coming out on the consoles. It's Bond is a young white guy. And he goes into M's office. M's black, and then literally every other main character is.
This is what they're going to do.
And
that's what they've been doing lately.
And Bond goes to speak, and he's interrupted straight away.
Until they start writing for the audience and not themselves, this is never going to change. And right now, they for themselves are going and they repaired Star Wars. We had to put a woman in there and some, was there even a white person at all in Rogue One?
You'll always get someone that writes on Twitter or whatever and accuse people like us. Oh, you're too negative. Yeah, this is going to be good, whatever. And every time they say that, they've always been proven wrong without exception.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they'll lose money until they decide not to.
And you said Rogue One, though. That's a perfect example. Yeah. It's a brand new property. They can put all the diversity want in it without messing up pre-existing characters. Yeah, I had no issue with Rogue One because of that. Like, these were new characters. All right, you want to make new characters? Great. Just don't mess with the existing characters.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid they actually go forward with the Stargate reboot.
But the Rogue One story was stupid, and Jin was a terrible character because the original idea of the movie was to have Donnie Yen and his big partner be the main heroes, and it was gonna be sort of like a D-Day battle thing at the end. But Kathleen insisted that they put a woman in there front and center and make her the main character. So
and maybe you're right, but that's also your opinion, right? Like I happen to like Rogue One. I had no issue with it, although I only watched it one time. I never went back to it.
So Jin is like a great character. That's your opinion?
My thing is, it wasn't a bad movie in a sea of
really
garbage Star Wars movies. So from my perspective, as someone who was like thirsty for anything remotely remembrance to the Star Wars I remember, that was like a breath. That was like a refreshing drink.
That's how they get you. That's
one at a time, gentlemen. One at a time.
Yeah,
come on.
That's how they get you because you're thirsty. Imagine how the movie would have been if Donnie Yen and the big guy were it wouldn't have just been, hey, this is okay. And so I'm so thirsty.
Sure.
This is
it could have been better.
marginally better than mediocre garbage. Plus the plot, all that crap didn't make sense. So even when they do okay, they're denying us of something phenomenal.
I liked Rogue One. It was Solo that made me want to think about doing harm to myself.
Solo, man. When he was the way he got his name was so infuriating. I remember someone in the audience when they finally showed that scene. They're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like some guy like 4 rows down from me.
Me,
The whole theater was upset.
me and my friend looked at each other in the cinema exactly the same time, and I swear telepathically when he said that, we were both thinking of committing Japanese ritual suicide at that point.
Well, that just shows you how bad the writers are, and the only thing they had was they took some member berries and like, hey, let's explain how this, and without even realizing how cringe their explanation was. But who was the main character in that movie? I would argue it wasn't even Solo.
It wasn't.
Like the person with the agent. It should have been called Han Solo's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Again,
I think also, guys, going back to Bond, I mean, I seem to recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when Amazon announced that they'd acquired Bond completely and they were in total control of it, do you remember Jeff Bezos was on Instagram or X, and he was putting out tweets going, right, who do you want to be the next Bond?
Yeah.
And just following up on what Ian said, overwhelmingly, people were saying Cavill. So that's the response that he was getting back at the time.
Yeah.
There's no way Cavill's not on the short list. There's no way.
He was also like, we're going to do a Moneypenny TV show and a Q TV show. And
he went wild
about
They
crap
don't
you don't
even
care
need
about.
to do that. They've got 5 books of young Bond. That's 5 seasons of young adult television introducing the character. Why not do a spin-off series about the other 00 agents? Why is it always got to be James Bond? And they're even stumbling at that very first step to get this relaunched.
That's a great point, because every time they talk about, the next James Bond is going to be a black queer woman, I'm like, hey guys, you know there's other 00s, right?
Yeah, that's 004.
Just
introduce her, give her her own agency.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, build a whole franchise around 0019. I don't care. Like, why does it have to be 007 every time?
This goes back to when.
I was just going to say, I could just picture it now when we go to the cinema to watch it, all of us, and it's just about to start, and then all of a sudden we get a load of trans men dancing across the screen.
This is the other answer to Ian's question about why don't they make their own stuff? Why do they have to take over ours? Because they are risk averse. Now, ironically, their risk aversion tends to cause them more risk and they lose more money, but they are afraid of new original stuff. See, 009 from Octopussy, you remember, he's not really a known quantity, but everybody loves Moneypenny because she's in all the Bonds. So the closer it is to the original IP, they're going to want to take over that stuff. They're terrified of original. Look at, they made a couple of original things. They did not do so well. And I would argue, again, they're taking away the wrong lessons. It wasn't the originality that killed these things. It was all of the ideology and the lecturing.
I personally think that they failed when they introduced Daniel Craig. I hated the Daniel Craig era. The only one I liked was Casino Royale, because it was directed by the real Bond people. You had the real crew. You had David Arnold. You had Barbara Broccoli, and you had what's his name? Who's the director? That director directed James Bond films before. Brilliant. Martin Campbell made that film work so well, and then they swapped all of them for this other team, and that's when it became a bit woke and a bit silly and a bit crap.
But that tells you it's not Daniel Craig's fault, because he can be a good Bond. I didn't like him either, and he's still.
Well, I'd just like to say, right, I disagree with them making Moneypenny into this rifle shooting, why would you do that? It's all about Bond. It's not about Moneypenny. And then as the films went on, more of it, like Q is gay and all that shit. And like that era was the worst era for James Bond.
Yeah.
In my
Can
opinion.
you imagine Desmond Llewellyn, again, that's the thing. To them, it is Moneypenny is James Bond because she's in the movie, and Q and M, they're all Bond characters. They're closer to the original IP, and I'm trying to remember. Like Sinners did really well, and that was an original property. I'm very happy about that. But they came out with a couple of other original movies that bombed, and that's just going to make them more gun shy. But the big irony is that their risk aversion, their fear of leaving the main property and going out and doing something truly original is what causes them to make crap and why they actually lose money.
I hated Daniel Craig as Bond. I really didn't like any of them. Everybody kept going on about what's it? Skyfall was great.
Oh.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't
no,
at all. You know,
no,
the
but you
ending
just
was
said you liked
stupid.
Casino Royale, didn't you?
Loved Casino Royale because it was directed by the real Bond people.
Well, that
until they
shows
got
you
rid of
that
them all.
Craig can be okay if he has a
He
good
could.
director.
Yeah, he could.
I liked Skyfall, but I will back what you said up, Ian, about when they put things in, because when you said about Moneypenny being in the field, they even damaged their own legitimacy with what they're doing there, because when he comes back from the dead and they're talking and walking across the room, he turns to her and he says, the field isn't for everybody. And basically she's taken a desk job. So they've made her out to be a strong character in the field, really tough to start with. But then essentially she's doing a desk job because she's given up. So even their intent, their intent, isn't it? It's failed at that point.
And also, if you take this joke, right, do you remember that joke when M says to the bad guy, he says, because they call him C, don't they? And he goes, now I know what C stands for. And he goes, incompetent, right? But what he should have said was, now I know what C stands for, and stop right there. Because
yes, absolutely.
See you next Wednesday. That's what, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. How could
if they wanted to give Moneypenny a lot more agency, bloody do the 00 TV series, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
She could be in that. She liaises with all of them.
Well, that's one of their ideas. But here's the thing, Skyfall, I mean, I know people like it. It was narrative nonsense slop. That guy might as well have been Gandalf or Voldemort. It was like doing magic, flicking his wand. Like nothing in that movie made sense. Now, you might like the set pieces, Freudian slip there. You might like the set pieces, and it had sort of a Bond feel or rhythm to it. But without the story, it's not really Bond. And I couldn't latch on to a single narrative thread in that absurd piece of garbage movie.
What's with the car?
The magic
car?
Don't
touch any buttons. Remember when he gives Em a lift and he goes, don't touch any buttons. Where'd that car come from? That's the car that was in the 60s with Sean Connery. How is this in this story? Do you know what I mean? I'm just like sitting there going, this is ridiculous.
At this point,
Sorry, I was going to say I saw a BBC News article, guys, last night, and they were talking about the new director for Bond, and their article, as they're doing it, the reporters basically saying, and now with Amazon, we've got a director, and we'll be seeing how that they can take Bond forward and make it relevant in the modern era. I'm paraphrasing, but along those lines. And it's like, again, you don't need to modernize Bond and make it for the modern era. You just write a Bond movie, you direct it well, you get a good actors in, it'll be a banger. But we know, look, what you said a few minutes ago, Ian, about, where people go, we're negative. We're not, but we see the same pattern happen again and again and again. So you prepare yourselves for it. As I've said, I'm really looking forward to the Superman movie. That's the one that I am excited for at the moment. But everything else, I'm in that ultra defensive mode because, again, I've got the Sean Connery 4K set turning up in the next few days, which I'll put on instantly. But this couldn't make me more lukewarm.
No, absolutely. I mean, just the headline alone, it just smacks of a MCU announcement of a film they're never going to make.
Here's the thing about Bond. He cannot exist as a modern character. He is a character who's rooted in a particular place in time. He could barely survive into the 80s. At some point, you might as well just give him a sonic screwdriver. His gadgets became so ridiculous and absurd. But in the 60s, man, that stuff was cool as hell.
I disagree. James Bond, right, is James Bond, and when you treat him as James Bond, he survives from the 60s straight across to the 70s to the 80s. They never changed James Bond's character. Roger Moore was laying girls left, right, and center. So was Sean Connery, and so was Pierce Brosnan, and so was
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton. Right, when they changed the character, that's when things went south.
Yeah, but
in my opinion,
it became less and less acceptable. But I'm saying the whole Cold War spycraft, human intel agent aspect of Bond is really rooted in the age before a lot of high-tech stuff, and it made his high-tech gadgets all that more awesome because it wasn't stuff that anybody. Now Bond pulls out a drone. I'm like, hey, yeah, I have a drone here. Want to see mine? But when he had the little rocket watch, also,
Yeah.
he thought Christmas came but once a year. They did actually make Dalton. Dalton was the AIDS era, and they did kind of make him monogamous. Actually,
I like
it is really
I
funny.
loved the
a lot of the tech that Bond used to have in the past. You can now get on Temu or AliExpress,
Absolutely.
and it's only a couple of $100. And you want to drive your car with your phone? Well, you just buy a Tesla. Just do it.
Yeah.
I predict with this announcement though, within a few months you'll probably get announcements of spin-off series to come or spin-off movies. I would say about this is this going to be similar to Lucasfilm, where they're going to go, right, we're going to set up an arc of how it's going to go over multiple films, but they're then going to make the mistake again of having different directors with different visions.
Do you know what the idea of the Moneypenny series is?
Yeah, she's at her desk and she's typing all the time. That's probably what will happen.
The idea was to go back through all the Bond films and have Miss Moneypenny showing her behind the scenes as the one really making everything work and making it happen and arranging how so Bond could actually succeed. But again, do you see what I'm saying? They need to make Bond a period piece. That would be so much cooler. It would allow him to be fully Bond.
Well, the rumor was wasn't it, several months back, that's what Nolan wanted to do. He wanted to do a 60s Bond.
Listen, real James Bond cannot exist in a world with 24-hour surveillance, facial recognition, and DNA scans.
Of course he can. Of course he can. Look, I totally disagree. I totally disagree with everything that you're saying, right? James Bond can survive if he's James Bond in this era and beyond, right? The reason why it's not, and it's being forced down this road, is because of all this crappy DEI and the people in Hollywood that still believes in this shit. Ordinary audience want to see fun. They want to see Bond lay girls. They want to see hot girls. That's what they want to see.
I'm not disagreeing
if you give them that, it doesn't matter what era we're talking about. It doesn't matter what it could be thousands of cameras, right? There's ways of avoiding it. I mean, if Jason Bourne avoided the cameras everywhere, I'm pretty sure that Roger Moore and James Bond character can avoid them too. Listen, we need James Bond. We need James Bond to be a person that seduces women because that's his job as a 007 to get to the truth. We need James Bond to have gadgets. We need James Bond to kick ass, and we need James Bond to be good looking.
Look at Mission Impossible is an example, isn't it?
Exactly.
Mission Impossible works. So Bond can work. It's just having an intelligent writer to actually put it onto script.
And that's the other thing. Ian's talking more about the character, and I couldn't agree more. Bond has to be Bond, but a good story is a good story with real spycraft. But you're right. They did some, barring the last two Mission Impossibles, they did make some pretty sophisticated, decent stories. I still think they would be better off going back in a period piece. But you're right. They can make Bond today. His attitudes need to stay the same. Nobody in Hollywood can even write a decent basic story.
Look, the mistake they keep making
complicated spy thriller.
The mistake they keep making is they keep all the idiots, right, keep saying, oh, let's make Bond like the novel, has to be like rubbish. But the James Bond films are the James Bond films. The James Bond novels are completely different. People want to see a James Bond movie. That's what they want to see. Give them what they want. Otherwise, suffer the consequences. Do you know?
Listen,
this is the trouble that this is the trouble Dalton had in the documentary, though, because he said people criticised him, and he goes, when he did License to Kill and it was a 15, he said they were getting complaints because the parents were going, we can't take our 6 and 7-year-olds to watch the movie. And Dalton said, but the books were never meant for children, because he'd gone right back to the books and he was trying to establish his Bond from the novels. But you're right, Ian, because the movies, they were more family entertainment than they were throughout the entire run.
The books are cold-blooded murder, man. But who takes a 6-year-old to see James Bond?
What are you talking about? My nan took me when I went to Bond double bill when I was a little kid. That's how I got into Bond.
Yeah.
I cried when I couldn't get into License to Kill because it was a 15 though, and Mum and Dad had to buy me a program from the cinema when they used to do them just to ease my pain.
I did like License to Kill though. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh, he's ahead of his time. I felt Dalton was.
The books had cold-blooded murder. They had, people getting mutilated by sharks. The books would be hard to do without being able to broadcast his inner voice and his inner thoughts, because they're much more cerebral. At any point in the books, you're going on about what's he's actually thinking. But Goldfinger, Dr. No, Her Majesty's,
those are James Bond films. Yeah, those are James Bond films.
Those are straight lifted from the books with a few changes. So it can be done.
It can. Listen, as I said, I disagree with Henry can't be James Bond because of certain things. I disagree with you can't have. No, I'm not you guys. I'm just saying out there. Yeah. I disagree with them saying that you can't. Bond is old fashioned. You can't make Bond. That's absolute nonsense. There are men in this world that are so handsome that all they do is look at a girl and then they drop their knickers. Do you know what I mean? That is something that happens in the world. So don't tell me that you can't have a Bond that does that. Do you know what I mean? So,
Henry Cavill's definitely young enough to pull off 3 movies.
Yeah, I would, of
course.
But listen, there's another practical reason why he can't be James Bond. He's already doing 3 things. He's doing Voltron, he's doing Highlander, he's doing Warhammer 40K, which is really like his dream project.
Yeah, but you know what, right? If I was in charge of Amazon, I'd say, let's wait for him. That's what I would say. Let's wait for him. There's no reason why you can't wait for him.
Oh, I'd buy him all. Well, I think all of those are Amazon things too. He's like a studio actor for them. They can. No, you know what? Voltron can wait. Let's get a freaking James Bond out here. Absolutely.
Film,
I mean,
he
guys,
could be the featured actor from Amazon Studios. That would be amazing.
Good.
I mean, moving on to our next subject tonight from Bond. Okay. Is this one. Hopefully, bear with me a second. So we've got this little cracker that was announced as well. Woo. So Russell Crowe cast as Ramirez in Henry Cavill's Highlander reboot. So
is that true?
I've seen it from a few places, and apparently that is correct. Yeah.
No, he looks about as scary as my toenail. Do you know what I mean? What the hell?
It was so funny when they cast Sean Connery as Ramirez. What did they say? Oh, you're playing Ramirez. He's an Egyptian. Or an Egyptian from Scotland.
I hope Russell works out, unlike what he did for Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
he might be good. He might be good. You never know.
He certainly has the potential. You know whom I had the perfect casting for Ramirez that would actually satisfy everybody, including the woke wankers. Mahershala Ali should have played Ramirez. He has the diversity. He also has the sword skills because he spent all that time training for his other roles. And, he's stone cold cool as hell, man. He would have been a perfect Ramirez. So,
guys, do you think, it can be good with Russell Crowe as Ramirez? I mean, are they going to change him to, he'll be a Scottish Highlander as well in this movie, or he'll come from another region? Do you think they'll rebadge
Australia?
yeah, exactly. Living with the Aborigines at the time. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
What do you
think? I don't know
Brian?
why they have to remake this. Why did they have to remake it? It's crazy. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do in terms of changes. If they don't make changes, then why remake it at all? But I don't really trust them to make changes. But isn't Russell Crowe sort of like, he's like, hello, I'm Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez. Like, I don't know.
That's right.
I just can't see him like, I can't see him pulling that off. I mean, they might go an entirely different direction, but listen, man, I love the Highlander TV show. That show gets way too much shade and not enough credit for how awesome it is in terms of writing and production on a shoestring budget, man. They they go all over the world every week. It was a really, at least until like season 6. So there's potential here, but does anybody have any idea like what they're going to change and what they're going to keep from the original?
I mean, guys, what I'll do in a sec as well, I'll go down and ask each one of you what your thoughts are and whether you think this will work. But I did hear when it was originally announced, what was that, last year or the year before? There was a lot of rumors coming out and sort of talk that potentially it was going to be set in the same timeline, but it was going to be like several hundred years before the quickening. So, this was a point earlier on for Connor McLeod where Ramirez was also still alive. But from what I've heard lately, it just sounds like a straight up reboot of the original. I mean, so going down, first of all, Ian, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's good? Do you think it'll work?
I don't see the point of doing a reboot of Highlander. It's a classic, and they should just left it alone. But saying that, I don't mind him being Ramirez, Russell Crowe. I don't mind. I think he'll be good. And Henry Cavill, really, he should be in. Should he be in this? I don't know. But you know what, right? This is what they do now. They can't think of anything original. They just remake stuff. Thank God they haven't got to Back to the Future yet, because it'll be a sad day in the whole world if they reboot Back to the Future.
They're never going to touch Back to the Future. You can't mess with a perfect film.
I hope so.
What's the point? What do you got?
You certainly
you going to do better than perfect?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see them doing a sequel, but they're never rebooting that.
I can see them trying to do it. Of course you can't, but I can see them with dollar signs in their eyes. Yeah, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Even the most hardened executive, though, has got to be like, what director is going to want to touch a perfect movie? Like, they're going to be like, nah, you're out of your goddamn mind.
They'll find some hack.
Some music video hack or something.
And they'll ruin it. Yeah.
Some YouTuber.
Interestingly, I saw in the week, some guy on YouTube had gone to Twin Pines Mall because apparently it's being knocked down soon.
It is.
So he was walking around it and just like how degraded it's all gone now. It used to be, what is it? JC Penney was there when Back to the Future was made, and it's now like a gym. They're just going to knock it down and put condos up or something.
It's like all malls now. It's like There's like 14 people left out of the 4,000 store mall, and it's a wasteland. It's so pathetic.
He showed a video of it from 1989 and people coming down at Christmas, and it's just packed solid. Yeah. And then he showed himself walking through it, and there's like 2 other people walking past, because it's just a different world now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. Do you know what makes me laugh about people that talk about Back to the Future? They always talk about things like, oh, the mother's chatting up his son and how bad that is and all that rubbish. It's absolute nonsense, right? If you look at it that way, yes, you can find fault in it. But the whole script was innocent. It really was innocent. It was just, none of that disturbs me at all. Why is a 16-year-old friends with a man in his 50s, Doc Brown? It's like, who knows? But it works,
Not like teaching his dad to stand up to bullies or anything like that.
Exactly. See what you're saying? See what you say?
No, I don't need to know that.
Right? Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? The criticism that comes across in Back to the Future. This is why Disney didn't take it on. Oh, for fuck's sake! What is wrong with you people? You're looking at problems that doesn't exist.
I wish Leah Thompson had been my mum.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I hope they don't remake that. I hope they don't remake E.T. I hope they don't remake Close Encounters. I hope they don't remake all the classics now. They have to be protected.
The thing is, what you guys were saying a few minutes ago, I bet any money that there is some exec somewhere going through every single movie that's been made in the last 40 to 50 years and going, can we remake it? Can we remake it? Is there any conditions in it? And again, it's like, I think the last one I attempted was, what was it? What was the Patrick Swayze film.
Oh,
With
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse, yeah, and the remake of it. Oh, it's
Yeah.
just-
Roadhouse.
That was awful.
yeah.
Mm.
Hey, I like that movie actually. I thought it was good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched that. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal. First off, I've always thought Jake Gyllenhaal was like sort of. I thought he had Down syndrome for a while. Like I swear to God. I swear to God. Like in Prince of Persia, I was like, it's nice that they have a Down syndrome guy playing the main character. That's cool. It's good for them. Good for them.
Diversity is our strength, yeah, bro.
Diversity is our strength. Down syndrome's guys. I legit thought maybe he had at the very least like a learning disability, and he was just not a great actor. He tried to go like the heartthrob route, didn't work, didn't play it. But then recently, I'm seeing him in movies like that really shitty movie. I think it was called Ambulance. I think it was called.
Oh yeah. I remember
Well,
that one.
the movie was not good, but like he was good. It was such a weird thing. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, God damn, like this movie's not very good, but like I love Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And then the same with Roadhouse. I watched Roadhouse and I'm like, movie's not great, but damn, Jake Gyllenhaal was great.
No,
So
dude,
Jake
he
Gyllenhaal was great in playing opposite that weird the Irish MMA fighter. What's his name?
Conor
Conor
McGregor.
McGregor.
Connor,
The worst actor I've ever seen on screen ever. I've seen porn actors that are better than what he did in that. I've
Like your
never
sauce,
seen worse
Brian.
acting. I've never seen worse acting than in that movie from him. But dude, you put Jake against that guy. Jake's like, wow, this guy's a fucking Oscar winning leading man.
Listen, Jake was fantastic in October Skies. I think that was like his first movie.
You're right.
And then
100%.
the one with the one where he plays the soldier, it was that weird
with Tobey
time
Maguire.
No.
Oh no.
Like
I
System
know the one you
Error
mean.
or something
Yes.
like that.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that movie, but I did
Yeah,
like
but-
him. It's
No,
funny.
I'm saying
I
he's-
liked him. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
when
good.
was he not a good actor? That's what I'm asking.
I
you.
guess
What
you're
did you-
right. I guess he just picks the wrong movies. I don't know. Like
Yeah, or his agent
I
does.
legitimately loved him in Roadhouse. In fact, I might watch Roadhouse again, knowing that it's not a great movie, but just because he was so good in it. Like
Yeah,
I
Brian,
believed him.
Mountain.
Brian,
Brokeback
I'm not-
Mountain.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Brian, I'm not going to judge you because I like early Steven Seagal movies, and I still laugh at what I call fat Steven Seagal movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
dude,
watched
Jake-
one the other day where Seagal was so fat and he's a sniper. There was no way he's getting up the ladder, and you can tell that they've got a stunt double in
Stunt
for the
man,
fight
yeah.
scenes.
He's actually skinnier.
They've closed the camera down to fin him.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean Jake's a better actor than freaking Steven Seagal, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roadhouse is one of those movies where all the forced DEI just killed it for me. That is not what those islands look like, and of course they had to have the diverse black woman owning the bar, and
Yeah.
but it wasn't the worst. The thing I didn't like about it is that every song was a inferior cover of a much better original. They just butchered that soundtrack. But I'm looking at this. Now, I love Henry Cavill to an irrational degree. I will cut him slack. I want him to be cast in everything, and I really hope that his star takes off. But I look at that picture and I don't see Connor McLeod. I actually see the Kurgan, man. I see
Yeah, I
see him playing the bad. Like I always think of Highlander as sort of a smaller, more agile, lean kind of guy. That's. But that being said, I'm all for giving it a shot. But for the life of me, I can't figure out like why they would remake it. But because it's Cavill, I'm willing to give it a shot. But and Russell Crowe doesn't. Damn man, he has a good track record. Certainly,
it could have been worse. We could have had Pedro Pascal as Ramirez, couldn't we?
But
I'm shocked he wasn't considered.
Yeah, I know.
But
he's on the list somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like all they're going to do is basically remake the same movie with such over-the-top effects and battle scenes that your mind's just going to go dizzy and the CGI will be all over the place. And instead of being the realistic, grounded, gritty, visceral fights and the Kurgan with safety pins in his neck, it's just going to be, a sort of massive what's the thing I'm trying to say? Just it's going to be a diarrhea of CGI all over the screen, and it's
Mhm.
going to be awful.
This is because Hollywood is creatively bankrupt right now. This is all they have, is clamoring at old IPs for whatever morsel they can put on screen.
Yeah.
And it's getting really, really tiresome.
But I'm giving it a chance. I'll go see it because I love this guy.
It worked with Chris Lambert, didn't it? Because he was French and he didn't really know how to speak English, so he was people were just reading off screen, and he was just repeating what people were saying. But he looked weird, didn't he? He had that weird look that had something that you look at him and you think, is that guy right in the head? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so he had that weird look. But Henry, he looks like a hero, don't he? He looks
being immortal makes you a little bit crazy, and having somebody constantly trying to cut your head off for thousands of years makes you a little bit paranoid. And Lambert nailed that perfectly. And I love the extended edition. I was able to actually, I think I was in Taiwan when Highlander came out, so the release version was the extended version. So they show, his secretary when he finds her with the bad German guys. I don't want to say that word. As a little girl, there's a few additional scenes that
there is.
I see why they cut them for pacing, but they are very good. Once you like the movie, it's definitely worth going back and checking it out. But again, and they made this movie for no money at all, man. This was like, it's a damn near perfect movie when you factor in the budget. What?
Clancy Brown didn't get paid a bean for Highlander. He didn't get paid nothing. So, it goes to prove. But you know what?
Excuse me, sister. I am a worm.
could have been worse. We could have had an announcement that they're remaking Highlander 2.
Oh no!
Also, right. I tell you, right. Highlander is a good film, and what makes it good. And if you take that element away, then what they're going to do is Queen's soundtrack. The Queen soundtrack makes that film great. What are you going to do?
You think they're going to keep that, or you think they're going to?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That the Queen is so integral into the entire atmosphere and environment of the movie. I think that gets overlooked sometimes, or it's not always in the forefront of my mind. But if you put that movie on and you replace the music, it's not the same. You don't get that Brian May just screeching out of there.
So what I'm going to do, guys, moving on in a second to was that you, Ista? You want to say something in a sec, didn't you? But moving on after that,
my piece.
Do we know who's playing the Kurgan or the bad guy?
No,
if it's
not announced yet. Not announced
Jeff
yet.
Bezos. Yes,
it's gonna be. It's gonna be hard to. Dude, that movie made Clancy Brown's career. It's gonna be tough.
Guys, all I'm going to say is you lot are going to be smirking on the other side of your face when Ezra Miller is cast as the Kurgan. All right?
No.
Did you see him this week?
Yes.
He won't have enough time from his James Bond movie to play the Kurgan.
Yeah,
because he's going to be James Bond.
It's they them.
I hope not. But you're right, though. Who said it? I think it was Istaphobe. I mean, Henry looks too solid because, as I said, Chris Lambert looked really weird, didn't he? And he looked like he was someone out of time. But Henry, he looks like James Bond. So what are you going to do?
I think from that, from what you see there, I agree, because the first Highlander, what I like about it is it's established Connor McLeod has traveled the world and he's learning different fighting styles, and the swords that he uses in it isn't a big broadsword like Henry Cavill would have, sort of like there. I mean, I think that might be from The Witcher potentially, but for the size and physicality, I could see him having that sort of sword, whereas Christopher Lambert had a smaller stature, and he was doing that. And when you saw him fighting the Kurgan, it was strength and experience of the fighting, because Kurgan, I mean, I remember that first scene where he jumps him in the back alley, and he's got him, he's beaten him, but it's only that woman that comes and hits him and distracts the Kurgan that gets Connor McLeod out of it. So that's it. I mean,
what about that scene?
She's a redhead.
What about that scene? What about that scene where he saves, as Istaphobe said, he saves that little girl, and she goes, "Hey, you're still alive," and he goes, "Hey, it's a can of magic. That's like reference to the song, right? So what are they going to do there?
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think I have the perfect title for Ezra Miller's James Bond debut. On They Them's Majesty's Secret Service.
That would be perfect.
Or the They Them with the Golden Gun.
Oh, jeez.
No, it'll be the trans with the golden gun.
Oh,
So
God.
what I'm going to do now, before we move on to the next topic, I'm going to Brian, who's here tonight, him and his brother Shane, who have got a channel called the Popcast. They do very, very good documentaries on movies and shows. I highly recommend you check out the channel. I've also put the link to their channel in the description.
Thanks, man.
And I'm going to play a trailer for one they've done that's just come out this week, which is a documentary on Superman Returns. So I'll play it now, and click on the link and check it out because they're really good, these documentaries.
Thanks,
so I'll show you now. Here we go.
Oh, he's cute.
Tragedy, sex, and Superman.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
No, look, it's
You're asking yourself how?
You all right? Mm-hmm. Where have you been?
Just cut. We'll just pick it up.
What?
I gotta say, just hearing that music, I get pumped. I just wanted to go dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That music took me weeks to make, and still able to upload to YouTube without copyrights.
Really?
I had to make that from scratch. I was sitting there with a piano, and I had to change the chords just enough to where it wasn't 100%, and then I had to lay out a bunch of pad tracks and all that. Like I'm a musician, but man, that was a difficult. And I was like, I knew I couldn't do these documentaries without that soundtrack.
Yeah, the art of the sound alike, that's a special gift.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it took me weeks. The soundtrack took weeks.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Brian, I wanted to ask you, since you like Roadhouse so much, like the babe in that movie she was something. Did you recognize that was actually Rat Girl from Suicide Squad?
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't recognize that. She looks a lot better in that movie than in Suicide Squad, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. She was way better in a bikini than covered with rodents.
Yeah, covered with rats. By the way, I liked the Suicide Squad like a lot.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm not going to say I made it through the movie. I thought it was ridiculous, but you're right. Some of the part, like Jake was so funny when he's talking about like, do you guys have health insurance? Because I'm going to break your knee and your leg, and it's going to hurt. Like there were some great moments, but the overall construction of the film, I thought was pretty bad. But it is watchable, and things like Ironheart, I can't even get through 10 minutes of the stuff. So.
Ironheart might be the worst thing I've watched this year since the most recent Doctor Who. The crazy thing about
not down and watched it at all.
I think Roadhouse was good, or at least watchable, because the characters, like the writing was dog shit, right?
Yeah.
But Jake was really good, and like in that scene you're talking about, like the thug, the henchman that he broke his arm, like that guy actually ended up being a really hilarious comic relief where you sort of like him. You like him throughout the movie, and you sort of feel bad for him when Jake beats his ass.
Well, at least he gets to run away at the end, right? Unlike the other guys.
That's true.
Yeah, you know,
is it close to the original movie, the Roadhouse film, the new one?
Not much.
No,
not much.
It's a guy in a bar. It's a bar cooler bouncer, and things get out of hand. But other than that, no, everything's pretty different.
Okay.
And I think so. yeah, I mean, check out the links in there. Check out the Popcast. Check out their Superman documentaries. You put another one out last week as well, or in the last couple of weeks as well, didn't you, Brian? Which is the Christopher Reeve one. So yeah, check them out, everybody. Before we move on as well, I just wanted to ask Ian as well quickly, how's things going with Rebecca Gold at the moment?
Going all right. Yeah, I need one more day to shoot in, but it's rest of it's in post. It's mostly being edited. Just need to add some graphics to it and some titles. So it should be ready by end of September, I reckon. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah. People are.
and I've put a link in the description to Rebecca Gold channel, and also if anybody wants to donate and support it, because it really is good, feel free to do so, because he's making something good there, but he's very modest.
Well, we'll see.
so moving on to our next discussion. Okay, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but essentially what got announced in the week is this. So this is from 2000 AD, and it's a movie that's coming called Rogue Trooper. Now, I'm a comic book fan, but I've never read Rogue Trooper.
Nor have I.
But from reading up about it, he's on a planet. I think it's a poisonous planet, and he's an advanced soldier with his unit. His unit get wiped out, and then he's going after revenge for the people that wiped them out, essentially.
Yeah,
if I'm correct.
There's a traitor general on his side that shopped their landing to the enemy. So he's on the hunt for them. But accompanying him are the personalities of 3 of his fallen comrades, which have been digitally recoded onto a biochip, which inhabits his helmet, his gun, and his backpack.
Great.
So it's essentially he's the physical aspect, but there are 4 of them in the squad.
And I've got images for you, thanks, C. And these images, which I'll show you now, these are from the upcoming movie. So that's currently how it looks. And I think from reading up on the week, because I went on the 2000 AD YouTube page, and they were talking about, I think it's Unreal Engine that they're doing this in.
Unreal 5.
Unreal 5. And they don't know yet whether it's going to be a cinema release or whether it's going to be a streaming release. We'll have to wait and see. But for me, knowing how great 2000 AD has been over the decades, it's nice to start seeing some new stuff and some 2000 AD stuff. I'm hoping that we get a Strontium dog one day, but it's nice to see something new and fresh that you can be excited to check out.
Absolutely. I mean, the only issues I have with these preliminary images is the fact that Rogue doesn't have eyes like that. His are just pure white.
Yeah.
The images are nice, though. There's like on YouTube, there's like a Warhammer for like a 10-minute short, or not really, that somebody did. And then that series that came out with the video game animation still, they had a bit based on Warhammer, and man, that was really quite good. I think the quality of the engine these days are as such that you can watch Machinima, for a 2-hour movie and be absolutely okay with it. Like, I mean,
is it next year this is meant to come out? I think potentially. Do we know?
Not entirely sure. I don't think they've actually given a solid release date as yet. Everything's been tentative. I mean, this is the first thing that we've seen from in the last 3 or 4 years. It's been complete radio silence on what's actually been happening with the movie, and now all of a sudden it's all looking good.
Give us a Judge Dredd sequel. Give us a Judge Dredd sequel with Urban in it again, please. That's what I want for Christmas.
I watched weeks of Red versus Blue, and that was like Xbox One, right? So I can't tell you how many episodes of that I watched.
I worked for Red versus Blue back then. which was
Oh, yeah?
Rooster Teeth.
Oh.
Yeah, I worked for about 3 months for him. Never. I got paid like maybe 20% of what I was supposed to get paid.
Really?
Yeah, back then the company was not like the internet didn't know how to deal with online creators, so they just sort of took advantage of everyone.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
they're not
shame.
hot these days
Good.
either, are they? Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Let's hoping it's good. Let's hoping it's good. It looks
Yeah.
all right. Actually.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That series definitely had its moments. I definitely got a few good laughs.
They did make a Strong Dog short on YouTube, and it was pretty good. I watched it. And it was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
It was a fan film. It was really, really good,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I enjoyed it.
It was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Had all the key character moments, so
They did,
it gives me the thumbs up. And this is looking good as well. I mean, the second picture, you've got a very accurate depiction of the chemical wasteland of New Earth. Bottom two images. The first one, I think, is Bland & Brass's Emporium, and the other two are Bland & Brass, who are they're looters on the
Scoundrels.
battlefield. Anything that can be sold, they're going to pick it up and sell it. They see obviously all Rogue's advanced equipment, and they want that.
yeah,
That's one of the stories in the first year of Rogue Trooper.
yeah. Quite. It sounds like my kind of thing, definitely. I mean, moving on to the next one, guys, as well. You would have probably seen this pop up today, which is the fact that allegedly Michael Bay is returning to Transformers. So I'll start with you, Brian. What do you think about this one?
Fucking explosions. Let's go. Explosions and lens flares and hot chicks leaning over old Mustangs. Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you peak cinema. There was a moment that was peak cinema, like top of the food chain, most American cinema of all time. And that was at the very end of the first Transformers. When the sun is starting to come up, right? You have the sunset. The sun's running. You have the sunset. You have Optimus Prime with his manly ass voice making the call for other Transformers to come and fight the good fight. And in the background, Linkin Park starts to play. It's like Linkin fucking Park starts to play. And then the camera pans over that perfect sunset with his words, "Come fight the fight." And the Linkin Park starts to blare, and you see the it was a Camaro or something, that beautiful Camaro, and what was her name before Megan Fox, before she completely ruined her body, and she's on there with the short shorts, and then it ends, produced by Michael Bay. Peak cinema. I'm sorry, but like at that moment, if you weren't totally hyped up and ready to go fight for Optimus Prime, then you are dead inside.
Friends.
I mean, the Michael Bay Transformers franchise overall has been quite a roaring success box office wise. It's done quite a substantial amount over.
It was
the
only
entire
last
thing.
night, wasn't it, Z, that didn't do too well? I think that was the only one, wasn't it?
Pretty much, and of course, the abysmal Transformers won. So they've tried looking at other routes for the franchise, and it just didn't work out.
Isn't the last night the one where they spent like $14 million just to kill that really annoying comedian off?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the one.
Yeah. The guy from Deadpool, TJ Miller.
TJ Miller. They hated him so much they spent an exorbitant amount of money for this elaborate death scene just to make sure he can never come back into the franchise.
Oh, why did I think Michael Bay did Battleship? He didn't do Battleship.
No, he didn't do Battleship. No.
I like Battleship too. I'm a sucker for explosions, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I admit to actually, just so you know, I'm not like a total snob, man. I actually liked that movie.
Yeah,
I love Battleship.
I love Battleship.
Giant guns and babes and aliens.
Bro, are you kidding me? It's everything. It's everything we need. I am not a complicated man. I do not need much. Okay. Those are the elements I need for a successful movie. Give it to me.
All right, I have to say though, Six Underground was bad. It was awful. It had.
I hear they're gonna shorten the title and call it Trans Movie. That's what they're gonna call it.
Well, they've got multicolored paneling, haven't they? So
yeah, absolutely. One of them is going to be really, really gay.
I want to know who's writing the story, because that's where these movies, when they don't
Waller
work,
Bridge,
because The
Waller
script
Bridge is writing it.
Oh, yes, friends.
Yeah, it really comes down to the writer. You're 100% right. The writer is the canary in the coal mine. I think that if Michael Bay has a good story, then he can produce an awesome, fun movie. Period. The end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon. I mean, what's not
Did
to
you
like?
guys? Did you
Give me
guys
the truth.
hear about? They were talking to who's that guy in The Accountant? What's his name? The main
Ben
star.
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
They were
John
talking to Ben
Barenthal.
Affleck. Yeah, there was an interview with Ben Affleck, and he was talking about Armageddon. Not Armageddon. The Armageddon, the one with Bruce Willis and the Rock coming. And he was saying to Michael Bay, "Wait a moment, shouldn't we be training the astronauts to go up there? That makes more sense." And Michael Bay kept telling him, "Shut up, just do what I tell you." Do you know what I mean? So there you go.
This is a fun movie. We don't want to see 2 hours of astronauts doing their job. Okay, that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean,
he kept asking me questions.
There is a case to be made. Listen, Katy Perry can go into space, but I don't see her drilling. I see people drilling her, but I don't see Katy Perry and Gail King drilling through an asteroid. So that's my proof that Armageddon.
I broke a nail.
It is on firm narrative ground with the choices that they made.
I gotta admit though, I did like the first Transformers movie, but the thing that the little things that bothered me is when they were fighting at the end and you couldn't tell who was who at the end.
I was going to say
that's
that
the only thing that spoiled it for me. The only thing. It was all right. It was fun.
I call that that's Ted McFarlane syndrome. The guy draws beautifully, but he doesn't draw in a way that the panels read. He's not a very good visual storyteller.
You're 100% right.
Unlike Jack Kirby, who like you don't even need words with the Kirby stuff. He's excellent, but still, dude, the first Transformers movie was somewhat of a revelation, man. I mean that you know, I don't expect it to be for everybody, but it was a very good, solid example of storytelling with some groundbreaking effects. And yeah, I would have preferred a different actor play Witwicky than that guy, but otherwise, yeah man, it was.
I think it started great. I mean, I still love how it starts in Afghanistan in the desert. You know,
oh yeah,
I adore that bit, you know, where it all kicks off. It is really well done. I think for me, the only thing that I want, and this is me from enjoying the cartoons as a kid, is I don't want Transformers there with big metallic beards smoking a cigar and doing all that. You know what I mean? I want, you know, when you see Bumblebee at the beginning of Bumblebee, when you've got the fight on Cybertron and you've got like Gen 1 looking Soundwave and all of them are there. They look fantastic, and I just want that. Give me that, Michael Bay. I think we're in a time now where we've had so much rubbish for such a long time. I think we need like a Michael Bay movie just to go and relax, switch the brain off, and just enjoy the
controlled
action.
John, you know it'll be controlled. Like Testosterone was coming out of those movies for the first 4. You know, as I'm saying, that will be controlled. Like just like Superman isn't you know, a square-jawed, manly, controlled person. They've literally destroyed his character for the new one. But you know, that's what they're doing now. They're taking the man out of men in movies. And if you don't believe me, just watch the last few films that's come out of Hollywood. They really are doing that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you know, there's a trans guy in this film. There's a gay guy, and there's a simp, you know, and the woman's in charge this time around. I wouldn't be surprised. You guys wouldn't be surprised either. So
I just realized how many actors from the first Transformers got Me Too'd. Like I wouldn't want to be in that film. I wonder. That's not a very good track record.
What's the name of the guy that, you know? I forget his name, but he was the main soldier in the first Transformers.
Josh Duhamel.
He was good in that Las Vegas series, wasn't he, in the early 2000s?
Yeah. He's gotten Me Too'd from multiple directions.
Yeah, he's living off in the forest now of his family or something like that, isn't he? I saw an interview of him. He's literally just gone away from it completely. But
he got hammered really bad. I actually I actually know some people directly involved in his situation, and I can't really say, but it got messy, and I think he
Said,
needed
right,
to
move
get
on.
out of Dodge, or he's going to go crazy. You know, I don't think he was
Yeah.
a bad guy. He's just another celebrity that didn't know how to handle instant wealth and fame.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
really messed with his head.
so I mean, I'll look forward to it. You know, like Ian says, I hope we don't suddenly get an announcement that there's a, you know, like a trans Optimus Prime. He's going, okay, everybody, let's roll out.
Hey, listen, I'll go see a Michael Bay movie long before I go see a Charmaine Abed Chenoy movie. So bring it on,
Yeah.
you know.
So, you know, I mean, obviously, Brian, you've said that you've got hopes for this one. It's giving you a bit of a buzz. You know, Michael Bay coming back. You know, the old team. You know,
Yeah,
so
I'm a sucker for explosions and lens flares and hot chicks and fast cars, bro. I mean, I'm a red-blooded dude. I'll give it to me all day. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna like Fast and Furious is not Oscar-winning movies in any way. They're not even good
dare
movies.
you.
And guess what? I don't give a shit. I will go and watch every single one of those damn movies every
I'll
single
watch them
time.
drive a car into space.
Yeah, 100%. I will criticize it and I'll laugh about it, but I will have a good time doing it. And Michael Bay makes movies that are the definition of that movie, and I'll take it every day of the week. You want to make Michael Bay's going to make another movie where a bunch of giant robots fight each other over hot chicks on Camaros? What the
I'll take
That's
all
a
of
win.
those except for the lens flares. Like, lens flares should be used sparingly, but I'll take the hot babes, cars, explosions, all that
all day
other
long.
stuff.
All day
Yeah,
long.
Yeah, I have
See?
vision issues, so too many lens flares gives me a migraine.
So Z, what do you think about this one? You looking forward
Well, I mean, Transformers movies are like Star Trek films, aren't they? You've got to watch out for the odd-numbered ones.
to it?
So this is probably going to be a success.
Yeah. Cards on the Table. I didn't watch the last one. What was it?
Yeah, I've watched them all. Guilty pleasure. Got to admit it.
the Beast Wars one. I decided against that after the director chewed me out of that one.
No, I watched that as well. It was just as bad as I thought it would be. But hey, it's an old reliable IP that they can pump a little bit more before they've run out of milk.
Yeah. And Ista, what
do
you think?
You know, I do like a good popcorn movie. Like I said, man, the first one I think was hit well above its weight class. Like, it was more than just a dumb popcorn movie. I definitely think it sort of went up and down. I never understood why the Autobots. So the bad guys, man, they turn into attack helicopters and jets, and the Autobots are just like shitty cars, man. They can't even fly. Like, did they get the short end of the Allspark stick or what? Like, why can't they turn, you know? But listen, it's good fun. I know my kids loved them. We just, you know, I could kind of watch them, laugh along, be on my phone a little bit, you know, maybe try to, you know, trade some Bitcoin while we're in the movies. But it you know, they're watchable and they can be really fun. It's not the kind of movie I'd sit down by myself, but you know, you have friends over, you know, it's a great movie to watch like after the Super Bowl or something. So
yeah.
But like I said, man, give me Michael Bay any day of the week over these soy boy, man bun, cucked feminist men director bullshit any day of the week. Give me
100%.
pure testosterone.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You
And
know, one criticism I have is all the ebonics. Like, we need to stop the robots speaking.
No,
Like,
I love racist stereotype robots.
I can't stand it. Like, I don't want them to sound like they're from 8 Mile, whatever. Don't stop doing that.
Mexicans.
Doesn't work.
And I'm not talking about the testosterone that Elliot Page takes or the testosterone in Dylan Mulvaney's mouth. I'm talking about real masculine testosterone.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. This one as well. You know, it's again, it's the epitome of a popcorn flick for me. You know, just go there, enjoy it for 2.5 hours. So yeah, looking forward to that. The next thing to discuss, guys. So I'm going to bring it up, but did everyone in the week, did they see the new Fantastic Four trailer?
Yes.
Did you see that one?
I did.
I did with the thing with the beard.
Yeah, thing with the beard, right?
Yeah.
Technically, that's from that they have that in the comics, but
yeah, they had a lot of crappy stuff that
I've always hated the Thing. Like, I hate the character, the Thing. I don't understand how that character works. It's just it's a hard character to display logically. It doesn't make any sense. That shot where he's pulling the boat, how long is this dude's legs? Like, no, for real. Like, is he walking? Is he walking in 5 feet of water? And if so, how is the boat floating? There's too many logical inconsistencies, dude. So when you add the beard, even from the comics, you're like, how does he shave that with a jackhanger hammer? How does it work? Like, I hate this character. When he tastes the sauce, like, oh, good sauce. You're like, does he have taste buds? How does this work?
He's so strong. He can make the water solid and carry him out.
Yeah, when I saw that shot, I'm like, that's the worst thing to like. That character should be used very sparingly because every time he's on screen, he's like a logical inconsistency. It doesn't work.
Listen, the thing is the heart of the story. When he is the tragedy of the Fantastic Four, and there's some great storylines in there. But I admit his sort of his morphology does make it a little bit of an issue. You got to overlook like a lot of things, but the things that this movie is leading into are way worse than just problems with the Thing. Like, this is going to be, I am not going to like this movie. I can already tell you.
Well, I think the trailer for me, I mean, first of all, my biggest thing is that the female Silver Surfer, I've just, again, on why? And I know they point to, yeah, she was in the comic book. She was very, very, very limited run.
Sorry, guys, can you hear me?
She did not
hear me. Mate. Yeah, hear you fine, mate.
Okay.
And it should have been Norrin Rad without a doubt. And the other thing that irks me as well is where they're doing a joke where Ben is walking along and you've got that guy in the background going, say the line, clobbering time. He's like, I don't say that, only in the cartoons, and it's like, why are you trying to make that into a joke? Just let him say that iconic line,
Well, I heard from a reliable source that someone higher up in Disney, not even at Marvel, said that Julia Garner is going to be in this movie, period. So you make her fit. And really, when they did everything else, the only place they had to put, I think they didn't want to do a female Silver Surfer, but they had no other place to put her. She could have been Alicia. She could have been Ben Grimm's girlfriend, but.
Do you see what they're doing, though? They go into the comics that became woke, right? And then they're saying, but it was in the comics. That's what they're doing.
But it doesn't, nobody bought it. Listen. They've never made an extra, even $1 or £1 or £1 because it was in the comics. They can say that all they want, but it makes no difference. Listen,
no, that's not exactly right though, because that character was part of a huge run that made a lot of money. Like, that character is part of the universe. And
the female Silver Surfer? No way.
Yes, it is. 100% it is, brother.
He was like 3 episodes.
Well, yeah, and if they utilize her the way they did in the comics, then it completely makes sense. Because if they're leaving that universe to be destroyed, then they need to save the actual Silver Surfer for the universe proper. And that means they need to use that character. So when that universe is destroyed and they come to Earth 616, we get the actual Silver Surfer in a sequel or in Doomsday or whatever.
No, they can't. Two reasons. They already gave her Norrin Rad's arc, which means they've ruined Norrin Rad. And second of all, that's
in
the
that
other problem.
Universe, brother. In that universe. I think that universe is going to be destroyed, and I think they had to have a Silver Surfer because they have Galacticus, and they didn't want to ruin the Silver Surfer that's going to take place in 2 movies. By the way, I'm not defending this movie. I don't like the MCU. I'm a DC guy, but it is comics accurate. And if you think about it, if they had to use a Silver Surfer, they would use the one that is a throwaway Silver Surfer.
Yeah, but okay, the bigger problem is all this multiverse bullshit, which removes any kind of stakes from the storytelling. But second,
100%.
if they already gave Shalabal Norrin Rad's arc, I don't care how many universes, they're not going to give Norrin Rad the exact same story in a different universe. The filmmakers will not do that. They're going to have to come up with some woke bullshit about how, Norrin Rad was cucked into being the Surfer. She's already stolen his heroic origins, and they can't give them back to him.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, and I'm not defending this. I just devil's advocate here, bro. Let's say this universe is going. Like, we all know this. Their universe is probably gone, right?
Yeah.
They're more than likely coming to 616. Correct? Everyone on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not 616, but I get your drift.
Or whatever, whatever the MCU proper is. Okay,
9999, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, so if that's the case, if they're coming to the MCU proper, right, via that ship at the end of Thunderbolts or whatever it is, there is a Silver Surfer here. They cannot ruin that Silver Surfer, right? So if you have to have a Silver Surfer to precede Galactus, because you want Galactus as part of this movie, wouldn't you use the throwaway Silver Surfer, the one that doesn't matter?
Now, listen, let me ask you something. They can't ruin him? What do you mean? They've ruined Reed Richards. They've ruined Johnny Storm. They've ruined Sue Richards. They've ruined that. What makes you think they're not going to ruin the Silver Surfer?
I get that that's your opinion on the casting. I'm not saying that's not the case, and I agree with you.
No, it's not just the casting. It's the story.
You haven't seen the story yet, though, dude.
Yeah, but we know what's going on in the storyline.
No, but you haven't seen it yet, so you can't make that definitive statement. You haven't seen the movie yet. Neither have I.
I'll make it 85% definitive.
Well, that's fine, but you can't make a definitive statement when you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, I've seen all their other movies.
You can complain about the casting, as do I, but what I'm saying is straight up, just think about it, completely emotionless. If you were going to use that character, you have to have a Silver Surfer that precedes Galactus. That's correct, right? Everyone agree with that?
Well, why can't he come to this universe and be the same guy too?
But let me finish. You have to have a Silver Surfer to precede Galactus, right?
Yep. Yeah. Have you heard the expression rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? I get what you're saying, but the entire
what I'm saying is if you have to have one, you choose the throwaway Silver Surfer from the comics.
You don't introduce one of your most iconic characters as a throwaway. You lead off with your best stuff.
No, but that's what you're doing. They're coming to you, the MCU proper, which means they don't want to use that character as a character that gets killed. They want to use a character that doesn't matter. Well, so she effectively doesn't matter, but they have to have a Silver Surfer to precede Galactus.
Yeah,
but it did the opposite in Multiverse of Madness, and they killed off some major MCU.
That was that was a massive mistake. Well, I agree, but I'm talking about
kill him. Have Norrin Rad survive along with the rest of the Fantastic Four. That's what I'm saying. You're like, well, we have to stick with the shitty script. So if we're gonna stick with the shitty script,
I'm not saying that. I haven't seen the script.
Shitty Surfer.
I'm saying from look at their perspective. They want to have the Fantastic Four escape that destroyed universe into MCU. They don't want to have to bring narratively somehow bring the proper Silver Surfer over with them. So the easiest thing to do, and it makes sense, is use a throwaway Silver Surfer that's still comics accurate, let her have her 5 minutes, kill her off, and then boom, they're in MCU proper, and we get a real Silver Surfer. By the way, just to proceed, I don't give a shit about this movie. I don't care about it. Yeah. I'm not an MCU fan, but I can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's like in light of all the other retarded decisions we made, we'll make this retarded decision. She's more than 5 minutes, man. It's her movie. It's her and Sue Richards' movie. We know that much. And the thing is, they already.
I'm sorry, bro. You can't say that definitively. You haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
people saying that's a Sue Storm movie. They haven't seen the movie yet.
I know somebody who has seen the movie, and that's what I've been told, and it's somebody that I trust. So I'll say this: they already ruined Mr. Fantastic by leading him off, and then just killing him off. So everybody already has this idea that John Krasinski is Reed Richards. So they've already kind of screwed that up. You're right. They he was literally a perfect Mr. Fantastic, like 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I like that.
I think
No,
we'll
he was
revisit
horrible.
this once we've all seen it and just see who comes out on top and, you know, who's correct and who isn't. You know, that'll be a great discussion.
I just
when
don't
we
like
get
it when
there.
people make the statements about movies they haven't seen yet, and they go, "Well, we know it's going to be a bad movie." We don't actually know yet.
Yeah,
Like, there's
I do,
been
because
good MCU movies that we all thought were going to be bad movies, right?
I've known 2 people that went to test screenings and they told me everything they could about the movie. So
Okay, all right, maybe you're right, bro. I guess we'll have
I
to come back
believe
and have that conversation
Yeah.
then.
I don't think many people are going to be talking about the movie very much once it comes out, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good movie. I'm just saying narratively, and again, the people saying that it's Sue Storm's movie, it's. I don't think. I'll make a definitive statement. My opinion. I don't think this Silver Surfer is barely in the movie. I think she's in the movie a total of 8.5 minutes.
I think her
Tops.
reshoots went longer than that because that's where all the reshoots had Julia Garner doing all of the work. So I think they added about 20 minutes.
But the reshoots were never confirmed. That was a rumor by Daniel RPK, who is a massive grifter. You can't believe a word that dude says. He's a liar.
There were shots from there were set shots from that. I
don't know, but the person that reported that is a massive fraudster. Everything he's ever said ever has been either a lie or he's gotten lucky. He's not a legitimate leaker.
All right. Well, I'll ask because they significantly changed the ending from the first test screening, and I don't see how they would have been able to do that without reshoots unless they just filmed every possibility from the beginning. But
or maybe that was the Thunderbolts end credit scene or something, which I also didn't care for. But
So I mean, guys, I was going to ask about this one as well. You know, what do we think this is likely to do opening weekend domestically? Do you think it's going to drop below the sort of 90 million?
I think it might have a good opening. I think.
100 million easily.
It's just second week it's going to fall apart.
Yeah,
when everybody
70% drop off, dude.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like 85, but
yeah.
I mean, it's going to see a massive drop off for sure. Now, like they're also competing. I think Superman's going to be successful, and I think they're going to be competing with Superman. So if Superman's good, that means that there are going to be people that are making the decision whether or not to see Superman or Fantastic Four. And I'm not sure Fantastic Four is going to win that fight.
I think over here, Superman comes out before Fantastic Four, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
But it's going to be during Superman's run that they're still competing.
Yeah.
all right. Is World of Real grifters or
World of-
variety?
World of Real has a decent track record for sure, but they also report things that come from leakers like Daniel RPK and GFR. So when they report their sources as GFR or RPK, you can't take them seriously. They've said good things for sure, but like when they said the reshoots for what do you call it? Brave New World was like $175 million. That was just incorrect. Like the tax records came out and it was like $30 million. So they were off, and they were off because they chose the wrong source. So it all depends on the source, dude. Like if you look at their sources and it's GFR, delete that article. If it's RBK, delete that article. Now, if it's Viewer Anon, you probably have a good shot there. That dude has a great track record, straight up. But some of these guys have bad track records, and Daniel RBK is just he's a con artist.
All right. What about Julia Garner? Is she a good source for the reshoots?
Did Julia Garner say that she was in that much of the movie?
From the Daily Mail, they say so. Yeah. So no, about the reshoots.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if she says she's doing reshoots, I'm not sure what they are. I still think she's not in the movie very much. Maybe she has 8.5, 10 minutes. But like, if you look at the storyline that they're probably going from, which is the one that has to do with Franklin the baby, which I hate that they're doing the Franklin baby shit. I hate it so much. Like that is something you bring in like the third movie. That's the way down the line. You bring in the Franklin baby. Yeah, that character is so overpowered, dude.
They're not even married yet.
This is my problem. This is my problem with it as well. Is that I think they're going to try and squeeze so much into one movie to try and set up for future movies that it's just going to be, it's just that's gonna cause a problem for it as well, because straight away you got Galactus. They're going to introduce Doctor Doom at some point. Like you say, you got Franklin in there. There's probably going to be a few other tidbits.
And Franklin is so overpowered; he's basically a god.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
that's one of those characters.
They made him look like Jesus. Like he looked like Jesus. Like
yeah, there's some characters don't belong in movies, and that's. I would argue that character doesn't belong in comic books either. But
what's interesting is when they get hold of a new thing like the Fantastic Four, they're not satisfied with just making a Fantastic Four movie.
No,
they just want to add all this crap. It's got to be Franklin's got to be in it. This got to be, you know what I mean?
Vehicle for political messaging. It's going to be that way.
Yeah,
and I am gonna say it, guys, as well. In that latest trailer where you got the women swooning at Johnny as he goes past the sign. And it's like him like doing a model shot on the poster and whatnot. That's going to be a bait and switch. I'm still sticking with it. That I think it's going to be established that Johnny's gay in this movie.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I'm sorry, you just reminded me of something. In that shot where he's I can't say certain words, where he's lifting up the thing, he's holding him while he's flying.
Yeah.
Why is he not on fire?
I think half of his body is not on fire. The bits that he's holding him is not on fire.
Is he worried about burning the Rock guy? I don't get it.
No. In the comics, he can do that. He can only have bits of him on fire if he wants. But yeah, you wouldn't want to burn Ben. Why would you want to burn Ben?
I mean, could you even burn Rock guy? Like, I'm sorry. To be honest, I've read all the Fantastic comics, and I really don't like the I don't like the characters. I don't like them. I don't like the universe. I've never liked them. And so every time a movie comes out or anything, I'm like, and I've read them. I've tried to enjoy them, you guys, but like, they're just so goddamn cheesy, and the thing doesn't make any sense, bro. Just because it's in a comic book doesn't mean it's good. And I don't think, I think most of the Fantastic Four run is, especially recently, is pretty bad, actually.
Well, remember they stopped it for years at Marvel because they were trying to get it back off of Fox, weren't they? The movie rights, and then they bought them out and then started it again. At one point, they were, they did that with the X-Men as well. They were trying to push the Inhumans, weren't they? At one point.
Oh, I went to the premiere. God. I went to the red carpet premiere of Inhumans. So because of my other channel, I had I got the star treatment to go watch the Inhumans. And I'm like, I was so stoked. I'm like, this is like peak Marvel back then. Like Marvel was on its game. I'm like, I'm watching Inhumans like 2 weeks before everyone else. I got this NDA. I'm feeling like a rock star, right? And we go in there, and I'm like, it was like the first 2 episodes or something. But after it was done, I'm like, I know why I got the invite, because other people said no.
That's true. I had similar thing happened with me as well. Me and Keith, because Keith's part of BAFTA, we got invited to see it. And me and Keith, we never fall asleep in a movie ever because we're so. And Keith fell asleep. Keith fell asleep halfway through it. It was that crap.
It was really so bad. It was, and it was crazy because it was attached to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which at the time I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know how. Like, you have Marvel, I thought that top bits game. You have agents cranking. They're doing awesome. Everything is like perfect. Stars aligned to make an amazing TV show.
Building it up.
Yeah, that should have been the warning.
Nothing. Yeah,
that should have been a wake-up call. By the way, I just got an answer back from my friend. I texted him and asked, how much is Silver Surfer in the movie? And I got an answer.
Yeah.
Too much. No, he said it felt like forever, but he didn't keep track. But he did say Galactus is hardly in it at all.
Oh wow,
which makes sense. Like, imagine the budget it's going to take to have Galactus in the movie for a lot. Like, dude,
if she's only in it for a few minutes, why does she look so awful? You figure if they just have to fix 5 minutes of CGI, they could do a better job.
They've obviously changed her voice in the last trailer as well, because it's more modulated if you listen to the voice since the last one.
Yeah, they need to call James Cameron and just use whatever tech he used from The Abyss to make that character, and you got it, man. No problem.
Yeah,
call up James Cameron and be like, hey, where did you use 37 years ago for Terminator 2. How about that? It's just not that hard. Like that, we've done this before. It's been done for a while.
So I do know Johnny. When I showed the picture of my friend who's very flamboyantly gay, he saw Johnny Storm. He's like, now that dude is gay. So I'm like, yeah, he looks like he's definitely going to be like, seriously, he is the flaming torch. So, you know,
I mean, it would track.
Yeah.
And I mean, moving on to the last one. I mean, I haven't, sadly, my image for it has failed, but I want to talk about the Superman movie. So the latest news that's come out this week, the additional clip. So you know, we'll take it away. I mean, again, I'll start. As I've said, I'm still looking forward to this movie.
100%.
I've seen a couple of things online that almost suggest that a lot of what we've seen so far is early on in the movie. Potentially. So there's a whole chunk that's to be seen. I mean, I just want to bang a Superman movie. You know, I'm excited at the moment. I'm currently watching Superman the animated series again at the moment.
Good choice.
Do you want to rephrase that? Would it? You just want to bang a Superman movie?
Yeah. He says things. He says things like that. You got to forgive him.
I also just want to bang a Superman movie. You know, it's funny. Like I have a. I don't know why I wasn't invited to this. I wasn't emailed. There was no text message. I guess I'm just not as popular as my friends who have half the subscribers I do. I don't get it, but I have a bunch of friends that did get invited to the Superman premiere, and the influencer one, and the 30 minutes one. I have like 9 friends. You know what it's like knowing all these people, and you're like the one guy who talks about Superman every single week, and you didn't even get no text, nothing. I guess I'm just not on the radar. But I talked to a bunch of these cats, and I told them, I don't want any spoilers, but I need to know something. I said, listen, bro, I know you're seeing the Superman movie tonight. Let me know, A, how it is. If it's good, I need a thumbs up emoji. No text. If there's a big twist with Ultraman, fire emoji. If there's a big twist with Ultraman and it's a good movie, thumbs up emoji. And he responded this morning with 3 thumbs up and 1 fire. So I'm thinking that my big twist on Ultraman is not as much as it was, but he liked the movie. Same with R&B, same with JJ. Every single one of my friends liked the movie. Now the thing is, I get it that they were like wined and dined and it's hard to not like a movie when you're treated like a rock star. I've been in that position with Star Trek, but a lot of these guys are really honest dudes, and they wouldn't just tell me they liked the movie just because they were treated fairly. So I tend to believe them, and I purposely didn't ask for details because I want to be surprised. But they all said they liked the movie. It felt like Silver Age stuff. It's Silver Age comics. It felt like watching the old JLU. Like these characters are really endearing, and you fall in love with them almost immediately. So that's all I got, and I purposely didn't ask for any more.
Yeah, well, R&B also said Picard season 3 was good. So
it was.
I like it. I like
Picard
season 3.
Bro, I'm the one who got to see Picard season 3 like October before it came out. The October before. I was promoting Picard season 3. It was great. I watched it with R&B at Terry Metalis' house. I loved that series.
You know what? Yeah. Terry Metalis was the one that convinced me to watch it. He was we was doing a live stream, and I was saying, I don't want to watch this. I've had enough. You know, I've seen the other 2. And Terry Metalis was in the chat, and I said to him, "Are you really?"
Was it
Terry
my
Metalis?
Live stream? Was it Raw Rant?
No. It was me. It was my friend Dan. I was on, and then basically what happened was,
it's awesome.
I still didn't believe it. He basically X'd me. He sent me a message saying, "Yes, I am the real Terry Metalis."
Yeah, dude, Terry Metalis. Terry Metalis is one of us. He's a sweaty nerd, bro. And he's gotten a little sucked into the Hollywood machine, but he's still, all in all, at his house, I'm not joking, this dude has a DeLorean in his garage, okay? Like a Back to the Future DeLorean. And it's surrounded by 80s and 90s arcade games. And then and I'm not joking, he has the kind of garage that I might sell one of my kids for. On the wall are 2 Ecto-Packs from Ghostbusters. The guy has everything that we love. He just has it in his gigantic garage, bro.
Right,
I did the
Brian.
interviews for my show with him in his garage, and I was like, "Can I swing the camera around?" And he goes, "Shh, no, I'm not supposed to have those ectopacks. No, keep the camera over here." I was like, "What do you mean you stole them?" Like,
Man,
Brian.
I don't care how much of a nerd he is. The action crusher with the pump action phaser and Riker and Picard and their Keystone Cops retarded plan to steal
I enjoyed
a starship.
Picard season 3.
Holy
I
crap!
enjoyed
That
it.
was the worst written stuff I've ever seen.
Did you see season 1 and 2? How can you say that?
Yeah, yeah.
How can you say that after watching season 1 and 2?
Yeah,
No, do you know what? I get
Yes.
what is the folk saying, and
Picard
also
season 3 with
and I also
10% less
get,
diarrhea.
I also get what Brian's saying as well. I get them both, because for me it was middling. I liked it, but then there were certain things that I didn't like about it.
Sure,
like
that's everything.
flying the
Yeah.
Enterprise, like
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon and shit like that. But you know what? I thought it was okay.
Bro, when the Enterprise D came out to that music, dude, I'm sorry, but like as a lifelong Star Trek fan, I couldn't help but get emotional, dude. It was a powerful moment.
It was all member berries, and they got the band back together, but the story was retarded.
I will
wrap my
say
head around such stupidity.
I'm a little more optimistic, my friend.
I will say that with
So
Terry
I'm pretty sure I won't.
With Terry Matalas, with Disney,
Vision Quest.
That Vision Quest show is the
Yeah.
only show that I'll come back and watch because he's doing it.
Well, it's
the rest of the
Sci-Fi.
Marvel stuff, no way.
The guy did 12 Monkeys and Star Trek Picard, right? Like he is like tuned into science fiction. So
No,
if you give
he's
him a-
tuned into space fantasy. They're different, and that's the thing.
Have you
Picard
seen 12
season
Monkeys?
Well,
they never go to space. That's one of the best time travel TV series of all time. It might be the best.
The movie or the show?
The show.
Okay, no, I saw the movie. I like.
Oh, bro, you gotta watch the you gotta watch the show, my friend. It is
but
his
I'm
best
saying
work by far.
Picard season 3 was Star Wars. It was space fantasy. There was no science or fiction.
Okay, I heard your opinion, but like watch 12 Monkeys. The writers that he had for Picard and for Vision Quest, that crew is the same crew doing Vision Quest. He has the same crew from show to show. In fact, that's why he doesn't work very often, because when he gets a job, the only way he gets the job is if he gets to take his writers with him. And a lot of these studios don't want a showrunner to come pre-installed with their writers. They want to have like a bunch of, they want a black chick and a gay chick, and they want to have different people in the writing room. And he will only take a job if he comes with his writing staff, like Matt Okagi and Phil Samuels. These guys, like, they're going to come with him every single time, and they're really good writers. When they wrote 12 Monkeys, they wrote ahead. They had the entire, before they even had 3 seasons, when they only had that first season, they still wrote 4 seasons. Like, they knew exactly where they're going to go. They banked on success before it even happened.
Well, James Mangold directed Ford versus Ferrari and Logan, for God's sake. But he also did the Dial of Disinterest. Right. So just because 12 Monkeys might be the best.
Well, you gotta stick to your lane, right? His lane is sci-fi. Like what we would say earlier, like
season 3 wasn't sci-fi. That's what I'm saying.
That's your opinion. I disagree. I'm saying that he knows sci-fi.
What was the science in that series?
Bro, okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I've had this conversation with hundreds of people on hundreds of panels. Here's the deal. You can not like Picard season 3. That's completely fine. I happen to thoroughly enjoy it. I thought it was the best Star Trek we've gotten in like 15 years. Okay. Maybe longer.
That's not saying a whole lot.
And when I watched it, it wasn't just member berries. I actually liked the way they brought certain characters back. I liked the way they twisted the story around. And I liked the way they tied in Picard's past. I thought he had to write a story that somehow dealt with Picard season 1 and 2's diarrhea seasons. He had to write that. He had to write a 3rd season that somehow addressed those horrible seasons. And he did it with, and I'm telling you again, time travel. The guy is a sci-fi time travel guy. And now what's he doing? He's doing Vision Quest, which is science fiction and time travel. I mean, if you can't talk about hiring the perfect dude to write your story.
It takes a really good writer to do a convincing time travel story. And I'm not convinced that anyone working in Hollywood today right now has the chops to do that.
Okay, do me a solid. Watch, and I'll be on the show again. Okay, after you've watched this, watch 12 Monkeys, the TV series.
But wasn't that like 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's still the same guy, same writers, same guy.
Yeah, but that was before
He's done a total of 4 things. That's one of them, right? So watch that series and just tell me what you think, because I think it's the best time travel TV series of all time.
I'm trying to think of the last convincing time travel movie or show that I've seen.
Good old Doctor Who.
I mean, there's good time travel shows.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for time travel, but like, I mean, dude, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 4 or 5 was a great time travel series.
So I mean, what we'll do, we'll go around. I mean, Ian, what are your thoughts on the new Superman movie?
I think
you've seen or heard.
I think it's going to be enjoyable, but it's not my Superman. Again, right? I know it's people. I've never read the Golden Age Superman comics, and I know everybody's saying Super 8 and it's very accurate and stuff like that. But I can see why it's there. It's because it's complying with what Hollywood thinks superheroes should be. They shouldn't be too masculine. They should be, they should be kind of like a simp, really. And this is the Superman they presented us with.
Are you a Reeve guy or a Cavill guy? Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, I like Reeve obviously better, but because Superman's very stoic, and that's the Superman that I like. The comics that I read when I was young.
So you followed Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, Chris Reeve. I mean, I hated the Cavill one, but I loved Cavill as Superman. He looked like Superman. Great in that costume.
He is like the definition of what Superman is supposed to look like. But the movie itself was so like dark.
It was rubbish.
It didn't hit the Christopher Reeve feel.
He wasn't a symbol of hope, was he, at all in any of his versions?
Yeah, but this version, it looks like I've seen other clips as well. It looks like we're channeling a bit of Star-Lord into Superman as well. And and it's the clips where he's punching some guy and his guy's teeth is coming out. Seems very cartoonish. I don't know.
Still better than Brandon Routh, bro. At least he punched someone.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh doesn't even punch anyone. You got to punch someone.
He stalked someone.
No, I want this film to be good. That's what I want, right?
Right.
But somehow I've got the feeling I'm going to leave the cinema a bit disappointed.
You think?
All I can say. Yeah.
I thoroughly hope
I
that's
think
not
you'll
the
be
case.
a lot less disappointed than coming out of Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Well,
we all agree on that, my dude.
It depends on your expectations, though.
Yeah, it does.
Fantastic Four won't disappoint me at all.
Right? Yeah, good point. Because are you even going to watch it? Like in
Probably
theaters?
not. Probably not at the movies. Like I don't really want to. If I have the opportunity to see it by buying a ticket for a different movie, I will. But I'm not giving.
You can still do that.
Money. Yeah.
It's fun. You can still buy a ticket, then run into the other theater.
When nobody is there, afternoon showings.
After COVID, they don't even check your tickets anymore. Like you buy it and like let you into the front door, and you can go wherever you want. I have a buddy now who just goes to the movies at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and he leaves at like 11:00 at night. Like he just gets all of his movies out.
I haven't given Disney money a penny, I think, since they fired Gina Carano. But about Superman, so I have again 2 friends that
are you going to watch that in theaters, paid for?
Yes, I have 2 friends that saw it through the test audiences, and one of them loved it, and the other one hated it. So I have a feeling this is going to be a divisive movie that's really going to split the audience. Also, but I heard it was much improved over the first version. It was like almost 3 hours long. They cut about a half hour out of it. They said it improved the movie a lot. So, I've read enough comics. I have room in my brain for different versions of Superman. I honestly don't know. But the 10-minute therapy session trailer that they keep releasing doesn't give me hope. But then some of the other scenes I've seen kind of do. So I'm definitely seeing this, man. Nobody listen. I don't want Star Trek to
spit
suck.
a theory?
I don't want anything to suck. I want this movie to be great.
I'm 100% with you. Can I give you guys a theory? I think there's a reason why they only showed the people the first 30 minutes of the movie, except for those handful of influencers. And I think there's a reason why they will not tell you who's playing Ultraman. I also think there's a reason why Henry Cavill has been stone silent on social media for the last 8 months. While before that he was active daily active. I know I have a script that literally copies his accounts for my reporting. He's been literally dead silence except for one picture he uploaded where he had long hair. I think that this is my wild theory, and if I'm right, it's a game-changing, epic, insane twist, and might be the most epic, insane rug pull in the history of cinema. I think that Ultraman is played by Henry Cavill.
Wow.
I don't really care. What I'm trying to say is that why would that matter to me? Bells and whistles don't do it for me. I need substance.
Well, but that is
story,
substance. Think
characters.
about that.
No, a casting is not a substance. He can
Oh,
play every character.
No. You take a character that played Superman.
The one thing I'm hearing, and they won't tell me why, but they say that this isn't the movie you think it is. It's kind of a bait and switch, but they're not saying it in a bad way.
Right.
They're
I've heard
saying
that too.
The movie you're expecting to see from the trailer isn't this movie. And what they've said kind of gives me hope that it's more about the movie really centers around Superman, Clark, and Lois, and it's a love story. And I'm okay with that. The previews look busy as hell, and that's not kind of what I was looking for. So this is one of those things where we'll know soon enough, but I have high hopes. And I will say this, man, the theaters in my area are sold out.
They're all sold out.
Yeah, it was hard to find tickets.
What is it?
I got tickets for the opening day. I tried to get the next day from my buddies, and they were all gone.
There's that clip. Did you see that clip where Perry White says, "Is that thing still up on the roof?" And Lois Lane says, "Yes," and he says, "Right, come on, let's go." That's the reason why we see the clip with Lois Lane flying that machine, isn't it? With
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't. Also, James Gunn's sense of humor. I loved Guardians. I didn't like the other two as much, but his vision, his sort of style, kind of gets old for me really quick. Like by the time they got to the ends of Guardians of the Galaxy, I was a little tired of it. But one of the things I've heard was that there was a lot of that in there that got taken out. So, I'm more hopeful about this movie than anything else coming up in a long time.
Yeah, James Gunn's a creative dude, and he's done a lot of stuff that wasn't just like jokey humor stuff. He started with horror. Like the guy was writing.
Yeah, but that's where his sense of humor, it's all that trauma stuff. That's exactly where his quirky kind of sensibilities come from. Because the horror it's not terrifying. The trauma horror is like gross and funny and absurd.
Yeah, like have you ever seen the movie Slither?
Yeah.
Slither was one of those movies where like I didn't expect to like it, and I realized about 80% through the movie, like, oh my god, this is not just a typical body horror movie. This is actually like a science fiction thriller, and it has like so much more implications than what's in this movie itself. I think James Gunn is really, really good at changing your expectations in a film, and he's never personally let me down. Every James Gunn movie I've at the very least enjoyed. So I look forward to seeing his version of Superman, and I think that he's actually a Superman fan based on what he's said in the past, not before he even got this job, when he was writing Star-Lord, when he was writing Guardians of the Galaxy. Some of his interviews were all DC-centric. So I think that he's a fan. I think that he understands the weight of this film and how important it is. And I think he's going to pull his heart and soul into it. And the fact that he is who he is, James Gunn pouring his heart and soul into something, is an automatic buy a ticket for me.
I was going to say, Z, quickly, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm kind of indifferent. I can see what he's trying to do. He wants to reinvent Superman, but it's just the same thing with every update from ordinary audiences. It loses what made it great in the translation, and I think that this is going to do the same. I want it to be a success. I really, really do, but at the moment, it's looking a bit dodgy.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm looking forward to it. I did have a debate with, it was Grace Randolph put out a tweet 2 weeks ago saying she can't imagine Superman ever knocking anyone's teeth out. And I kind of made the point. I said, well, in Man of Steel, he snaps Zod's neck. And then I said, and then someone came after me and he says, oh, yeah, but teeth is much worse. He loses all his teeth. I said, Superman 2, at the end, when he's turned Zod into a human, he breaks every bone in his hand, lifts him up, and then throws him down into the abyss. That's a lot worse. I know.
But right in the Donner cut, they were alive. They got arrested by the police. So there you go.
I know.
So he didn't kill him.
Wow. Breaking every bone in his body, though, is a lot worse than teeth knocked out.
The crowd cheered in the cinema when that happened. When I was watching it, they literally cheered. They were like screaming and stuff. So it's a good thing, in my opinion. So there you go.
Again, I'm looking forward to it. I will say I think we need a really good DC Superman movie.
Oh yeah, we do.
We need something good now, and
I want something that tells Marvel, like, you guys step up your game, stop focusing on your agenda, and like the only thing that's going to do that is healthy competition. And so, like, if DC starts to rise from the proverbial ashes, hey, guess what? And I'm a comic book movie fan. Like I said before, I'm not one of those people that watch Oscar-winning movies. I can care less. I want explosions and hot chicks. I want fun.
Me too.
And action. That's me, bro. And comic book movies almost always hit on those levels. And all it needs is a good story. I think Marvel became so complacent and they thought they can run with their agenda because they had no proper competition. So if DC actually rises from the ashes here and becomes competition, hey, we might have two studios actually fighting for, viewers, the eyes of fans. Sign me up, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, for me, I mean, talking about being a geek and excitement, I've been going back. I've just been reading my Fourth World omnibus again from DC, and I'm like I said earlier, Superman the animated series I'm watching. I've got the entire Reeve 4K collection to watch this weekend as well. So I'm in the zone. I'm very happy. I'm looking forward to it. I just, if I disappear, it's because it wasn't a great film and I'm never to be seen again. I've just disappeared into the woods and I'm living feral somewhere.
But for me, there are a couple of things that really great with me when I look at the clips from Gunn's version is the costume sucks. Right. I don't think that guy looks masculine at all for some reason. I don't know why. He just doesn't. And also, right, it's the practical things that I loved about the 78 version where he literally comes off the floor and flies, and it's literally him with wires pulling him in the air.
Because Reeve was a pilot. Like he knew how to move.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, right, when he's flying, you can see him flying in the. I know the technology is not as good as what we've got today.
Of course not.
You can literally see him. There's one shot where he flies and he goes round in the air and he comes. There's that one shot which is absolutely terrific. Yeah. And I think
that shot where he banks off the wall. Beautiful.
Yeah. And I think
you would believe a man can fly. That was like the
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that Gunn is suffering from the same thing that Zack did with Superman, where it's just a blip where he's flying or he's flying too fast. You can't see the beauty of the flying and stuff like that. So it's just those things that I think.
I was told though that the flying is actually really cinematic. I'm hoping that's the case because I had the same criticism when I saw the trailer. And I was like, I don't like the Man of Steel style of flying. Everything's super blurry and like handy cam. Like, I don't like that. I actually don't like any of my movies to look like it was filmed on my cell phone. Like, I don't understand why anyone likes that. It's so weird to me.
Yeah. Oh, vomit's the word I couldn't think of earlier. I don't want to feel like I'm getting CGI vomited all over me when I'm watching a movie.
Right, guys, I'll tell you what. one of the best shots in any Superman film, and I challenge you to challenge this, right? Best flying shot is in Superman the movie, where we're in the office and all the girls are shouting and Superman flies outside of the window. That is amazing. If they do things like that, I'll be happy.
Mega Geek, I hope you watch my documentary about 78.
I am going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
I literally start the documentary, and the first minute is that shot. Because that shot amazing. And the shot from where he banks off the wall in the fortress are some of the most iconic flying shots of all time. And I think 78 is like the grandfather of all comic book movies for that reason. They managed to actually make a serious, superhero movie, and it only could be done because the team they had set up to do it. Reeve and Donner were serious about the movie. They weren't trying to make a campy Batman flick. They tried to make a movie about an actual character that could exist, and it worked.
Do you know what gives me goosebumps every time watching Reeve Superman the movie? It's in Lois's apartment when he's Clark Kent and he's talking to Lois, and she goes out of the room and he takes the glasses off and he straightens up as Superman. You're like, bloody hell, he's straight away into Superman. Such a good actor he was, and I'm so lucky to get that movie because it's iconic.
Dude, speaking of that, there was this interview where when they were talking about how is he going to play both characters, and someone gave him the I forgot who it was. I have it in the doc, but they go, look, don't play Clark Kent and Superman. I want you to play Superman, and Superman is playing Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And the way the second he did that is when it became when that iconic character was born, because he wasn't trying to play two characters sloppily. He was playing one character, and that one character happened to be playing another character. It worked.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah. It's that film, I've lost count over the years how many times I've watched it. I never get bored of it. It just gives me immense pleasure every single time I watch it. I think I want the Superman movie to work because I want more good DC stuff to come along, and let's hope we get that, because as you were saying a few minutes ago, Brian, I want something to basically say to Marvel, look, you've screwed up how many years?
Step it up.
Yeah. If you want to make money again, you're going to have to get rid of your nonsense. But they probably still won't do it.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with DC.
I don't see competition making Marvel change what they're doing or how they're doing.
You're right.
But that's fine. I'll have. I think it was Richard Donner that helped Christopher Reeve develop Superman and Clark.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I forgot what it was. It's in my doc. The problem with making docs every 2 weeks is that like my brain gets all this information and then it forgets what I learned 3 weeks ago because I already did that.
But the best scene. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, you cut me off before, and I was just trying to get the same thought. Yeah, it's
go
okay.
on. Sorry, mate. Go for it. Oh, you don't remember it?
It's gone.
Sorry, pal.
You need some sort of indicator, like talking.
My fault. Yeah, I didn't see you were talking. I didn't know it was before when I was arguing with you. I didn't know it was you because I couldn't see your avatar moving.
Do you know what though? None of these films are going to beat the sequence where he saves the helicopter and he saves Lois Lane. None of them. How can you top that? You can't.
You? Yeah.
I gotta be honest though. As bad of a movie as Superman Return was, you almost topped it when he saved the shuttle. That was a cool scene.
That was a great scene.
That was a great scene, legitimately.
Well, again, watching your documentary and talking about with what's his name who did X-Men, and he was
Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer. He was living with Donner.
And he was living with Donner.
And he was trying to make a sequel to effectively the Donner movies.
The second movie.
And it was like, I liked that idea. It's just nothing happened in that movie at all, did it?
He fell over the hurdle, didn't he?
Yeah, he tried to make a Donner Superman movie, but he failed to make either a Donner or a Superman movie somehow.
I remembered what I was going to say. No, when I'm watching the trailers for this movie, half of the scenes make me feel like I'm going to be vomited with CGI, but the other half make me think I'm really going to like it. And here's the thing. I love Doctor Who. I can put up with crappy costumes and cardboard boxes and hand-drawn sets and crayon as long as the dialogue's good, as long as the characters are authentic and sincere and the acting is good. I can put up with a ton of stuff that, like I have a kid who's like, if the costume's not right, he's not going to like the movie. And I'm like, really? You can't even use your imagination to fix that one little bit and enjoy the rest of what's good.
Right.
So I just don't want to, like, so many movies lately. I just feel like the massive, everything's taking it up a notch and then another notch and then more CGI. It's like the prequels all over again, man. Right. And when my friend said, no, this is like a love story between Superman and Lois. And I'm like, okay, I can actually get down with that. So
we'll see.
Like, we'll see. But Brian, what you said about Slither, that's how I felt about Lake Placid. That's one of my, I don't know if you, it's a movie about a giant crocodile.
I love Lake Placid.
Yeah. I didn't expect to like it at all. And dude,
I'm right with you.
Awesome.
I expected to hate that movie. I was literally forced to watch it by my buddy who likes horror, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be so stupid. And then halfway through, I'm like, I love this film. It's so fun. It's fun. And the main character is so good in that movie.
Yeah, another thing is awesome.
Sorry. Another thing that we should actually mention as well is the reason why Superman 78 and the Batman films feel different to what we're seeing now is because now they're shooting on digital, right? So things look super clean. But when you watch Superman the movie, that was real photography. I mean, Jeffrey Arnsworth had a light meter. He had measuring tape. What he got on film is what we got. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's very different. It feels different. Do you know what I mean? The films of today than yesterday. Just thought I'd mention that.
I think that's why I loved Oppenheimer so much, man. I'm old enough that, and I used to be a photographer, and it's funny. I can't always tell you what the difference is when I'm there, but I my brain knows even if I don't. And I do think there's a certain amount of digital fatigue you can get. But man, like Oppenheimer, there's not a lot going on in that movie. I could watch it like 3 times in a row and not be bored. Man, that movie is just fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's
I
definitely
like that movie because of Florence Poe. Foo, whatever her name is.
Pug. Florence Pug.
Pug.
The Pug woman.
Have you also seen on YouTube at the moment that Warner are playing the Superman movies back to back? They've got on a 24-hour live loop.
That's awesome. Now it's personally destroyed the views on the movies that I just put out, which sort of sucks. It sucks for me that I just put 2 documentaries out about the movies that they're playing on a 24-hour live stream, but I still think it's great.
It's on YouTube. Is that where they're playing them?
Yeah, that's not the whole movie though. It's just clips from all the Superman movies.
I think the other day they had the whole Superman 4 on there. Yeah.
Oh well, that you can put that one on there. Nobody wants to watch that one.
Listen, I'm not going to say Superman Returns was a great movie, but the end scene when Martha's trying to get in there, but nobody knows that that's her son. Dude, that scene hit me like a ton of bricks.
That was good.
That was some powerful filmmaking, and it had moments. It's eminently watchable, and I think by today's standards, it might even be considered a masterpiece. So
no,
I can't agree with you there, bro.
I know.
Although Quentin Tarantino, for some reason, believes that Superman Returns is one of the best movies ever made, and that Bryan Singer should have won Best Director, which is a weird thing for Quentin Tarantino to say.
Listen, when you say by today's standards, I'm already knocking off 70% of the quality. You're aiming for the lowest 30% of quality there. So
I get what you're saying. My biggest problem with the movie is not fixable, though. I'll tell you why. They gave the guy blue eye contacts so that he would look like Christopher Reeve, right?
Yeah.
And then they put a yellow filter on the entire movie so you couldn't see the fucking blue eye contacts. Like it drives me nuts, dude. I have had to watch. Now, listen, I just came out last weekend with this documentary, so I've watched the movie like 30 times this month. Right? The thing is, the entire movie is worse for that stupid filter they put on the entire movie. It makes no sense. And I know it was popular at the time to give everything this piss yellow filter, but man, it drives me nuts.
You can fix that. You can recolor time the whole movie yourself.
It's too late though. You've already lost the data though, right? Like the blue of his eyes are gone.
No, you can get that back, especially if it's just the eyes that are bothering you.
You're adding a filter to a filter though. Like there's color data that was lost.
Yeah, certainly, but you can retrieve it by, making decisions, by making judgments. And they have really excellent software now that understands by adding a filter to a filter, you're actually subtracting this and this
color grading
originally. Yeah. So
I guess you can use AI if you really cared about that much, but dude, watching that movie.
Yeah. Listen, I still can't decide if it was a good idea to make the plane in the beginning obey the laws of physics or not. It's like part of me, like the engineer part of me, the sci-fi part, the guy that actually built spaceships, kind of wants it that way. But the part of me that loves Superman wants me to see him pick it up by the tail and swing it around like Thor's hammer, and the plane won't break. So
when he was holding it from the nose, I was like, that should be crumbling. That doesn't work.
I just turned my mind off for a Superman movie. I'm like, I just want to live in the moment with it. And it's, it's like Superman 2, where he throws the flipping Superman sign, out of his chest. It's like, makes no sense, but I still loved it as a kid.
Yeah, that made no sense. Yeah, that made zero sense.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. As
I can't even develop headcanon for that. Like
everything in Superman 78, everything was there. It was on set. Everything, you know what I mean? All right, there were some matte shots from time to time, but that was it. Now we're in an era where everything looks clean. Everything looks perfect, like a sunset in a movie looks perfect now. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it takes me out of it. That bit where Superman's spinning around and he's using his X-ray heat vision to shoot all those things in the trailer, that doesn't seem real to me. Do you know what I mean? But it
looks like so damn cool.
Oh,
it does. It looks like a cartoon.
And I know exactly who they are as well. So I'm my hype bubble is just getting bigger at the moment. So as I said, if it's not, then you'll never see me again. I'll just disappear into the woods.
Well, John knows this, but like I have my third YouTube channel is literally dedicated to DC, and all I've talked about for the last 3 months is basically Superman. So I need this movie to go do well. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope it does well. I really do. I hope it does.
Yeah. Well. And I was also going to say, before we wrap things up, I was going to ask you guys if there's anything in particular you're watching this weekend. I know, Ian, you were talking in the week. You're watching the TV series of the Dead Zone.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking for stuff that wasn't woke. I came across the 80s Dead Zone with Anthony Hall, whatever his name is. Can't remember the guy's
Michael
name.
Anthony Hall.
Yeah. But you know what, right? I was saying this to John, okay? The thing I noticed about it immediately when I watched the first 5 episodes was how hot the girls were in it. and there's a black guy in there. So, do you know what I mean? That's proper diversity as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? Proper diversity. So there you go. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
That's good. And Ista, what about you?
Let's see. I think I might go check out the Megan movie for
Megan 2.0.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say, "Oh man, this is a totally original idea." I'm like, you mean an evil robot that comes back to save their victim from the a more evil robot? Like Terminator 2 original?
It's not original.
Yeah. No,
not remotely. I mean, you can even say the Terminator wasn't original. Like if you go back, you can look at other cinema or at least stories that were basically the same exact story. So
but that's why Terminator 2 was a little bit of a twist. But honestly, I think Megan just might be stupid enough for me to have a good time with it.
That's what I'm planning on.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one. Give it a go.
I'm still recovering from I'm still recovering from. I tried to watch Ironheart, and I think I broke something. Honestly, like,
Dude, her suit is powered by solar and wind power.
oh, I thought it was powered by theft and selfishness.
Bro,
guys, have you heard of a film called Robert?
No.
Robert?
I'm serious. So basically, right. Okay. So it's a horror film, right? And it's on Netflix. Okay. So I was bored and I watched this film called Robert, and it was the worst horror film I've ever seen in my entire life. Basically, it's about this little boy that gets this doll, this creepy doll, and it's called Robert. And I kid you not, right? There's a scene in it where Robert pushes a woman down the stairs, right? And it's so obvious she didn't fall down the stairs. They had those cuts and everything. That's how bad the movie is. And then when Robert is moving, you can tell somebody's moving its legs. It's so awful. But here's the kicker, right? It's an awful movie, and I made 4 sequels to it.
What?
How is that possible? How is that?
That means
possible?
that means it made like 4 times its budget each time. Think
Bro,
about how many leprechaun movies there are. For the love of God.
Yeah.
I saw a movie. I saw a
House
movie like
movies.
that. I saw a movie like that. It was called Killbots, aka Chopping Mall. It was
I
like
think I've seen that one.
it was like these little hovering robot monsters taking over a mall, and you could see the wires and the guys like. But it was definitely comically enjoyable at the time. I saw it overseas, so the movie going experience in some countries. I saw it in a country where people smoke in the movies. You can actually look straight up and see the movie, that the smoke is so thick. It's like projecting in a cone all the way down.
That's what we grew up with, though. I grew up with that when I was a kid. Everybody used to smoke in the cinema. I used to, that was the thing in those days, wasn't it? So
yeah, but
not today, though.
What they didn't do in your country was lock the doors with a chain from the outside to keep people from sneaking in, and everybody's smoking, and you're just kind of hoping there's not a fire because no one's getting out of here.
And Z, what about you this weekend?
This weekend, I'm continuing my binge watch of Jack Reacher with John Krasinski, which I'm finding quite useful, quite enjoying that, and catching up on Murderbot, which is
Murderbot's great
I
show.
love Murderbot. Oh,
love
yeah,
Murderbot. Love that show.
Yeah.
What if an AI gained sentience in a robot body and was stuck babysitting a bunch of wokies and trying very hard not to get them all killed?
It's really, really good. It's funny.
Really?
It's interesting. It has a cool world building aspect to it. Really rad show, man.
What's that?
And I'm sorry. What's that? I'm always forgetting Alexander Skarsgård. Is that his name?
Yep, that's it.
So dude, I'm learning very quickly. This dude is a great actor. Like, my introduction to him was in True Blood, where he was just like this shirtless, hot vampire the entire time. But the more I watch him in shows and movies, the more I'm like, this guy is a leading man. I just hope to give him a shot.
Well, look at his dad.
No, that's his brother. No, his brother's in there. Yeah.
No, Stellan Skarsgård is his dad.
No, his brother is the one that with the weird eye plays it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. And I mean, just before we wrap up, I mean, for me, I've got Lethal Weapons turned up this week in 4K, so I'm gonna check
too old
that
for
out.
this shit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I've been told that my limited edition Connery Bond 4K set has been dispatched as well. So if it turns up this weekend, I just won't bother getting changed. I'll just stay in bed all day and just stick that on. That'll do me nicely.
Then Stargate on Sunday.
Stargate on Sunday, Stargate SG-1. And what about you, Brian, before we wrap up? Anything you're watching this
probably
weekend?
Megan too, but I'm going to be streaming all weekend, so I might not have time to get to it. So
When is Megan
Murderbot, whatever I can find here.
Murderbot.
Yes.
Plus, I'm preparing for the next documentary that comes out next weekend.
When is Megan 2 being released?
Today or yesterday.
Oh, is it today? Oh, okay. I'll try and catch it.
And obviously, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. It's great to have you watching along. I also want to thank this great panel that's been with me tonight on the show. So thanks, guys. It's been great.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is Ista, just tell us where else you can be found as well, as opposed to here. What channels?
Well, I don't really. I'm just sort of like a hobo bouncing around from stream to stream at this point. So I'm on Mr. Brown Alliance occasionally, and but I usually don't know if I'm going to be on there until that day. Mostly just come and say hi to me on Twitter. It's at Istophobos. So I'm trying to get a little traction on there so I can vent when something terrible happens.
And Z, where can we find you?
You can also find me on Twitter at 3POZ. I also slum it on the Mr. Brown Alliance channel and the Trev Retro channel. So do check them out.
Yeah, great. And Brian, where can everyone find you?
All over the place, dude. You know that.
Yeah.
My main channel is in my subtitle, The Popcast. But we got The Brain Show, DC Unleashed, Marvel Unleashed. All just look for Popcast guys on all the social networks, and of course YouTube, The Popcast. That's my main channel. That's the channel I dedicate 80 hours a week to. So that's one you want to follow. The other ones are more like projects that I have fun with.
Yeah. And finally, Ian, tell us about Rebecca Gold and where everyone can find that, and where else they can find you.
Yeah, they can find the first season of Rebecca Gold on the Rebecca Gold channel, which is on YouTube. I'm on X, I'm on Insta. What else am I on? Facebook. Yeah, you can talk to me if you want. Lord knows why, though. There you go.
GitHub. Spank Bank. OnlyFans. OnlyFans. OnlyFans.com/sweaty nerd.
I'm told you we're going live from OnlyFans next week. Have I?
Next week.
You know, I actually had an OnlyFans for a while called Klingon Warrior, where I put photoshopped images of Klingons in sexy poses, and it got banned. They banned it. I had 2 subscribers. I have no idea where they came from. I was like, these guys are freaks. It was the whole thing was supposed to be just a joke. And then I was like, I'm just going to keep posting the hot Klingons in here. And,
were they male or female?
It was a little bit of column A, column B. To me, most Klingons look like males anyways. So, like my first shot was from TNG, the Klingon that's like walking up the Enterprise bridge. And it's funny, like I was like, I might actually be able to make some money on this OnlyFans, and they banned it. They banned it within 2 weeks, dude.
Well, you're probably giving that Bonnie Blue ideas now if she was watching it.
Susie Plaxton pulled it off as Kalar, but she may be the only. I mean, Lursa and Bator, no, nice chest plate, but
one.
Not the one from Star Trek Discovery season 1.
Yeah, that's the hottest one right there. That's the hottest Klingon.
Wait,
dude, I don't know. 99% of Klingons are just so unattractive to me. I've never understood the appeal, but
Star Trek.
Why did they ban you though? I don't understand. I mean, it's
I think
like
they banned me
or anything
because I don't know. Like the reason they gave me was breaking terms of service, and I'm like, what terms of service am I breaking? I think it was just a blanket ban because they knew I was making fun of the platform. Because I wasn't actually trying to create content, dude. I was just trying to make a joke, and I don't think they take jokes very well.
But no, I mean,
I still had 2 subscribers though. I have no idea where they came from. I just think it's hilarious that 2 random people signed up for that account. $5 a month. Yeah. I had 2 subscribers at $5 a month. So weird.
I can't help it, mate. It's a thing, you know.
Yeah, I knew it was you, John. I knew it was you.
That's 10 quid for me, you know. 2 sign-ups, yeah.
No big deal. He's like, he's doing the private messages. Like, let me see your feet. Let me see your feet. Let me see those hairy Klingon feet, baby.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
You have to do a Substack with that. They won't ban you, and you can just get all your private subs.
I think I need some Kalar feet tonight.
I want to see you. I want to watch you eating gaw. Can we watch you eating gaw, please? Without shoes on. Fucking weirdo, dude.
ASMR gaw.
Hold on. Isn't OnlyFans only for stuff like that? I'm pretty sure it isn't, right? It used to be
it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
for anything, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I can't tell you why I got banned. And I honestly, I didn't care enough to research it or even reach out. Like when they banned it, I was like, all right, well, that's done. Like I do a lot of weird channels and stuff just to see how it works out and have fun with it. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I got like 30 YouTube channels and only 4 of them I actually put content on. So
yeah, cool. But no, thanks everybody for tonight. And we've got Stargate SG1 live watch along on Sunday night. And then we will also see you next Friday night for another blockbuster show talking about the latest entertainment news. But until then, look after yourselves and we'll see you soon. Take care. See ya.
later, guys.